The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barber's Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack, this like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Had a problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is your boy Scott. It is Monday, September 9th, 2024. It is Victory Monday here for the Chicago Bears. I got my Victory Monday shades on. So for those of you who who called me, I think somebody called me prime time in the fucking chat and on 7 Night the House yesterday. But anyway, it's Victory Monday. So we doing this for the victory vibes. Y'all know to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barber's Chat Network at Barber's Chat Net on all social media platforms. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barber's Chat Network. If you got your phone, if you watch this on the TV or something like that, you can go up right here to the QR code. It'll take you right there. We got 4 different tiers. We got the 79th and Hallis tier for $5. We got the Summer Sessions tier for $5. We've got I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier for $5, and then we got the $10 Barbershop All Access tier for $10, where you get everything and you get a special discount code, 25% off of your first order on the Barber's Chair Network shop, where you can get all your I'm Not Gonna Hold You and Barber's Chair Network merchandise. And of course, you can just visit the the BC shop, bcnetshop.com, where you can get all your exclusive gear, man. Get that. We got some dope stuff coming to, some new content as well. And of course, you can visit bcnet.com, your one-stop shop for everything Barber's Chat Network. You can follow our partners, H&B Media TV on Twitter, that H&B Media on Instagram. Man, we've got a very packed show for y'all today. We've got the homie, friend of the program, one half of the hip-hop group, the Cool Kids, Chuck English, is going to join us in hour 2. We've got our college football correspondent, my guy Kyron Samuels, who'll be joining us in hour 3. Of course, remember, this is the Super Show, so we're going to be going on for about 2 hours, in between 2.5 hours, 3 hours, as we're going to lead you right up to the kickoff for Monday Night Football between the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers, man. And, of course, going to bring in my squad here, man. We've got Dante, we've got Mikey in the house, man. You know to follow them on social media platforms. You can follow Mikey at @Junior_Solito on Twitter. You can follow Dante at OctoberZonte on Twitter. JR Bang will be joining us as soon as he gets done taking care of what he got to take care of. He's being in Bang Wamsgans right now. So we'll bring him in just a moment, man. So how y'all feeling?
Victory Monday. So I'm feeling a lot better than I was during the first half of the game yesterday. They had us in the first half. So I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday, man.
Dante, how you feeling?
I'm decent, bro. The Bears won, and Kirk Cousins' Achilles looked like pulled pork yesterday. So he could not drive off that foot at all, and he looked pretty bad. And Justin got the W, so it was a solid day for me,
Solid day, man. Let's just get right into it with the local hour. Bang is not here to sing the song, so unfortunately we do not have that for y'all, but it is the local hour kicking off our first Post Bears game, local hour of the season. We've got a lot of stuff to get into, so let's just get right into it. Bears win 24-17 on the lakefront, being down 17 points to the Tennessee Titans. They did not score not one offensive touchdown. Caleb Williams did not have a great day. Nobody on the offense had a great day. But a win is a win. Like I said on the show on 7 Night the House, like I said on my Instagram chat caption, in the words of Dominic Toretto, winning is winning. Don't matter if you win by an inch or by a mile. This is how a victory Monday is, regardless, man. My actual feeling on it is this: from being there in the building. By the way, it was electric up in there. Great atmosphere for Soldier Field. A lot of fans were definitely excited to be there. You take this one. And I say you take this one because we'll be feeling a lot worse about how Caleb played, how the offense looked, how the offensive line looked if you come out of there with a loss. It's just that simple. So I would take the win. I would rather win right now and build on the offense getting to where it needs to get. And that's something that I think will be good as far as just building it. But there are some concerns. But if you're a Bears fan, you take not just Bears fan, but Bears player in general. I think Matt Eberflus said this. Kevin Byers said this when they were talking to the team at the end of the game. You take the win, you keep it moving. You celebrate it, and then you get ready for the next game. I don't think there's any way. If anybody says there's anything as bad wins in the NFL, I don't agree. There's ugly wins for sure. This is 100% an ugly win. But my morning doesn't feel any doesn't feel bad. My morning didn't feel bad. My day didn't feel bad. I was very upset, like around the second quarter, and it was just like I tweeted. I felt like I was watching the same Bears game on loop that I've been watching my entire life, and it just felt like, okay, here we are again. You can even feel it in the crowd. Like the crowd was very loud pregame. The crowd was very loud through the entire first quarter, but even then, they kind of got real quiet, and it was just like, oh, here we go again. And it didn't get loud again until Daniel Hardy, friend of the program, blocked a punt, and then Jonathan Owens took it, scooped it, and brought it right into the end zone. That's when it started getting loud again. But I would be feeling terrible right now if the Bears lost that game, considering that, they had, everybody said this is a winnable game. They haven't won at home in 2 seasons in the first week. So I definitely would have felt bad about that. But especially heading to Houston. I wanted to go into Houston basically playing with house money. Like if you lose, okay, you 1-1. I didn't want to go in there and face an 0-2. I was in the booth searching how many teams made the playoffs after starting 0-2. It was that bad. So they got it out the way. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win, and I'll take it. Mikey, how are you feeling after this win?
I'm feeling the same way. A win is a win. Same way you kind of just said that, there's no such thing as there can be ugly losses. You don't get an extra win in the column for putting up 500 offensive yards. A win is a win. So I'll take it. I think it showed a lot more into the culture and stuff that we've seen over the summer and we've seen through Hard Knocks. That room definitely plays hard for Flus because there could have been a lot of heads hanging. There could have been a lot of people being, upset, aggravated. You come out, home debut for Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, all this hype. And you kind of lay a dud for the first, for the first half. So for me, I think that it just showed that those guys play hard for Flus. They have each other's back. It reiterated what I think, that the defense is ahead of the offense, and the defense definitely has playmakers, especially in that secondary. And it leaves us with the same questions that we had last year about the offense and when we will finally have a modern day offense and when can we win a game where we rely solely on the offense. At the end of the day, it is a team game. It takes all the phases, offense, defense, special teams. So I feel much better today knowing that we're 1-0 opposed to 0-1, considering that, the Packers, who a lot of people have as the number 2 team in the division, obviously took a loss Friday in Brazil, and now they're dealing, with the injury. So I think it's important to stack up the winnable games. Yesterday was a winnable game, and I'm just glad that they found a way to, actually win that game.
Dante, what's your feeling after, the game yesterday? I know you have a big number for them. You got to win the 12 games this year. How did you feel about how they won this game?
I felt real good. Hold on, before I start, Nikhil, throw the picture back up just for a second. Everybody, shout out to the watermark in the bottom corner, Nikhil, taking these dope shots at the game, bro. We got to shout out to our dog. But yeah,
Definitely.
nah, bro. A win is a win. I'm excited that the defense carried them this week, and I think honestly, it's probably better off that Caleb had a bad game out the gate. Because had he came out and just lit shit up, then I think people would have just started talking crazy. And as much as I think he's gonna have a really, really good season, we still need to be realistic. I guess, I'm more so with Scotty, like you said, I was talking crazy. I still think 12 wins is attainable and they will do that. But in that first game, you saw what we see from rookies. It was times where he looked like he was just really hyped up, like the throw he missed to 11. There were some drops, but there were also some throws that he missed that we know he can make, and he will make those throws. Like some of them especially the ones that were, bouncing before they were getting to the receiver. I would think that was just more so him trying to fit it in tight spots that eventually he will get his rhythm and timing with those receivers and hit that. So I'm not concerned with that at all. Keenan normally catches that touchdown pass, so that's not really an issue for me. So I feel really good. And I think that, the defense is what we expected it to be. I think the defensive line played a lot better in the second half. And I think we're starting to see that a lot of our concern with the D-line is also really Flus because, he loves to rush forward. Like that's his thing. And then when we saw in the second half, when you saw that wasn't working, he did adjust and he sent more pressure and we started to force the turnovers. So I'm happy with what I saw from them. My main concerns, and I know we'll get into that on the other side of the ball. But I think overall, I'm happy with what I saw. And, like he said, like Orlando, that's a good point. The fact that, a lot of people struggled week one, not just the rookies, a lot of quarterbacks, period. Like these were some of the lowest numbers we've ever seen in a week one from quarterbacks. So, to Mikey's point, people aren't getting a lot of reps in the preseason, so it really takes time. And, for Caleb making that adjustment from college, I think the sack showed him, all that spin around shit, that's cool. But these people are a lot faster. So, like, he did it once and the other guy was right on him. So that's not going to always be the case. But he'll start getting rid of the ball, not taking those sacks and shit like that. So, so far, on this Victory Monday, I feel good.
Definitely. I think if I was a Titans fan, I'd be throwing up because the Titans had no business losing that game. I know there's a lot of talking coming into it. Jeffrey Simmons, who, was all over the place. He didn't play bad. He was upset. They didn't do nothing, things like that. And it's like, okay, you still lost the game, my nigga. Like, that's just how I kind of felt. It was just good to see people leave Soldier Field happy. And so I will take that, man. But as happy as we were yesterday, it kind of got brought down to earth a little bit today. Bears coach Matt Eberflus spoke to the media today. I was not there, only going Wednesdays. But he basically said that, that Roma Dunze, who wasn't featured a lot yesterday, will be taking an MRI on his knee. He didn't say how much about it. He said he won't know till Wednesday. We're going to know way before Wednesday because Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter, Tom Pelissero, somebody is going to get that news and they're going to break into the timeline. So, he's very he tries to have a poker face when it comes to injury news, but it did sound a little bit like he was concerned. And for me personally, I didn't see the play. I mean, I saw it later. Shout out to Kevin Fishman. He put like a play that looks like where Rome got hurt. We rolled his ankle up. Somebody rolled on his ankle. Rolled on his knee when Velus got tackled. Something's always happening around Velus. We'll get into that in a minute. But he looked fine to me when we were in the locker room. Joe interviewed him. He looked cool to me. And usually if somebody has a serious injury, they don't, grant them media access like that. So that's not saying that if it isn't serious. I have no idea. I'm not even going to begin to guess. We'll know when the MRI comes. Hopefully it comes out clean. Me personally, I understand why people be panicky and upset about it. I'm not going to tell people how to fan. Me personally, I'm going to wait and see. It might be bad and it might not be bad. I think either way, even if it is bad, I think this receiving core is equipped to be able to move on even without him. When you have Keenan Allen, you have DJ Moore. Now, granted, both of them, especially Keenan, are going to play much better than they played yesterday. But I do think that's when you bring a guy like Tyler Scott, who he should have played yesterday. I don't know why he was held to scratch. I like DeAndre Carter. He's a cool dude. He should not have been getting that many offensive snaps. But I think we're just kind of in wait and see mode. And I also think it kind of brings you back to reality of this is football. Like, injuries are going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when and how severe. So we really just in wait and see mode with Rome. Mikey, you say you were listening to our guy Hoodie and Cap, their morning show, and Flus has a morning spot on there. You said that you feel there was a little bit of nervousness in Flus's voice.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of stumbled when Jonathan Hood asked him if Jonathan Hood made a point to ask him, how's the injury report looking, going in today, and I believe the kind of comment that Jonathan Hood made was one that we were all thinking that it was pretty much going to be a clean injury report. I know we all saw Keenan Allen limping yesterday. We saw DJ Moore take a hit on that sidelines, landing on that concrete. But they both came in the game and they finished. But Flus kind of stumbled on his words. He was kind of like, we got to see. Guys are just coming in and reporting to the building, so we got to see. But yeah, it should. He said, I think he said verbatim, it looks decent. And then that was around 9:30 in the morning. As you come, a little bit later in the day, he speaks, at the press conference to you guys, and that's when he says that Rome has the injury. But it does happen. News just came through right now, actually within the last 5 minutes, that Sean McVay has clarified that Puka Nacua has a knee injury and he's going on IR, so he'll be out for the next 4 games. So, it happens. That is football.
That's brutal.
No, it's very brutal, especially if you kind of watch that back half of the game yesterday, kind of once you force them to be one-dimensional as far as throwing the ball only to Cooper Kupp, then I think you can have some success against the Rams. So the Bears, will luck out there as they play them in about 3 weeks. But, I guess, we're just praying for the best, praying that it's nothing, long-term, and that he will be able to play later this season, because although this is a deep wide receiver room, we do know that DJ Moore and Rome Odunze are the future of this wide receiving core in this skill group. So you want Caleb and Rome to get as many reps together, as much film as they could put on possible, not only for that connection, but, just for Rome's own, experience, to put that on film and to see different coverages. So, praying for the best. If he's out this week but can come back next week, then, that's the best case scenario. But I believe we should have some news coming up by the end of tonight or early tomorrow. I know Flu said that he'll speak on it Wednesday, but kind of, Scott, how you tweeted, the big wigs will definitely get their hands on that information sooner.
Definitely. Dante, what is your feeling about this? Are you nervous?
I wouldn't say nervous. I think this is why you got Keenan Allen. And with the weapons we have, it's really more so I'm nervous about Shane Waldron, because we remember the comments that JSN made about him, and him getting everybody involved or his struggle to do that. So if he has to shuffle the deck now, we saw how he was using Rome. Obviously, if you bring in little Tyler Scott, no disrespect, of course, but he's not going to do the same things that Rome does, because they're not the same size, not the same type of receiver. So how does he shuffle it? How does he switch it? So I'm concerned with that if it's something that has Rome out for an extended period of time. I do think, he's young enough to where he can bounce back from anything. So whatever it is, with modern medicine and, the way they treat knees these days, guys can come back and still be themselves. It's nothing too crazy. But I'm really just taking a wait-and-see approach, But this is why you brought in Keenan Allen. This is why you have the depth that you have at wide receiver.
Yeah, I think more than anything, the thing that I would be worried about, and not even about like as a fan of just being worried, I want Rome to get as many reps as possible. Even though he is a rookie, even though he's, third behind 2 guys who might be in the Hall of Fame one day, you want him to get into a groove. And I thought even before he got hurt, and I don't know if Waldron didn't call plays for him as much because he got hurt. Now that we know, I don't know if that was the case. And we'll get into Waldron's game plan in a minute, but I don't want it to be where it's like next year we're like, oh, okay, we still don't know what we got from Rome. I want Rome to be very active in this offense, and I think that that's something will be my biggest concern for him as far as development wise, man. But let's go on to the main reason that the Bears won yesterday. That is the Bears defense. As you can see here, the funniest picture of the night. Of the game, I was about to call that nigga Ryan Tannehill, Mr. Will Levis, when he threw this interception to Tyreek Stevenson, which was funny because he just threw it up. I'm pretty sure he meant to throw that out of bounds, but his arm strength did not allow that. It stayed in bounds, and Tyreek caught right before it hit the ground and walked it all the way into the end zone. As you can see, he's completely shattered. But the defense had an amazing game. Darrell Taylor, what an amazing debut. Was my guy Herb Howard joked, the best debut by number 52 in Bears history. But he had a big game, 2 sacks. One was a strip sack, which led to with TJ Edwards recovering. You had another sack, Gervon Dexter, with a sack. He was good. And the first half, man, they were just letting Levis do whatever he wanted. I think that one scoring drive where Tony Pollard just wouldn't be stopped and they were letting Levis get throws off is because there wasn't enough heat. And like you said, Dante, he likes to only send forward, which I just don't understand. I think it's stupid. And a way better quarterback will make you pay for it a lot more than Will Levis made you pay for it. And I think that's something that's got to stop. Once they dialed up the blitz more, it was nowhere for the Titans to go. And that to me was really, really exciting about it. And I think that what I guess like impressed me the most was the end of the game. And they're up, I think they're up 7 or something like that. And the offense couldn't get it going. They got another 3 and out, and they got the ball to the defense. I said, we gonna see what kind of defense this is, because the last couple defenses, they've been bend that don't break, but they can never close the door. They can never shut the door. I was like, yeah, your offense isn't doing anything, but can you go out there and close the door anyway? And that's exactly what they did, leading down to 4th down, which really got picked off by Jalen Johnson. By the way, Jalen Johnson, he is so good. He has defeated Mikey. My Mikey was one of his biggest critics. He has defeated him. Had another pick. Could have had 2 picks yesterday. When he got burned by Calvin Ridley, but he made up the ground real quick, and the ball was right in his hand. Could have been the second pick. He had a really good game, great game, sealing it. And I think that this defense has the potential to be top 5. I really, really think it's there. And I think if they can get another edge rusher at the deadline, which could happen. I mean, Montez Sweat got at the deadline. Even though the Chargers won yesterday, I don't think the Chargers are going to be a playoff team. So I wouldn't be shocked if the 52 we all know and love is on the market, or whoever the edge is on the market to add to this defense. But I really love what I saw. The secondary was locking up. Jaquan Brisker didn't get hurt. I thought it was really, really good. Mikey, what did you think about the defensive performance last night? And do you think that this is something they can build on? They can really, really be elite, despite the fact that, the pass rush is a little slow to begin with at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I think they turned it up when they needed to. I think they realized after probably, the 3rd offensive drive, 4th offensive drive for the Bears, that they were going to have to be the ones to kind of create pressure, create some opportunities for the offense to score or get in scoring position, or in Lovie Smith fashion, take the ball away and score themselves. So I was really impressed by Darryl Taylor. That's a way that you make an impact. 6th-round pick. 6th-round pick was sent to Seattle for him. He was only with the Bears for about a week and a half before, week 1, and he came in and he made an impact. So, I love to see that. Kyler Gordon was flying around, TJ Edwards, and what was big for me was Edmonds, and just how he was able, like last year, you can see he was kind of playing in quicksand to start off the season, and TJ Edwards had just kind of lapped him as being the best linebacker on the field. And I think now you're seeing Edmonds and Edwards start off at the same time in unison, making an impact. So I really like how they were flying to the ball. They were fucking hitting. There were some hits out there. They were laying the lumber. And then, Jalen Johnson, man, my number one enemy has now become, one of my favorite players for the Bears, because he is making a genuine impact. Also, he did get burnt by Calvin Ridley. Any legitimate quarterback would have put up 7 on that pass, that deep play to Calvin Ridley, because holy fuck, was that an underthrow by Will Levis.
Yeah.
But I need to see a little bit more when we go up against the upper echelon quarterbacks and the upper echelon offenses. This Sunday is going to be a hell of a test. Stephon Diggs in his debut yesterday, 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins, 117 receiving yards. Joe Mixon, 159 yards. So this offense is not going to be what we saw, Tennessee Titans-esque on Sunday Night Football. The Texans can put it all over the field, and they can definitely have multiple people that can go ahead and make you pay for it. So I'm going to wait to call them elite until I see it against some of the better teams. When you look back at the 2018 team, we knew we had a really good defense, right? But I don't think all of us, I don't think all of us came to the conclusion that they were elite until they stopped that high-flying Rams offense. And I think that's what we're going to need to see this year with this team. We're going to have to see them go up against one of the better offensive teams and really kind of prove their point and make a name for themselves. So until then, I will not say that they're elite, but there's no way that they can't be a top 12 defense with the guys that they have.
Yeah, I think there was 2 games in that 2018 season that kind of let you know what kind of defense this is, kind of make you feel like they're legit. I think the number 1 game was that the Sunday night game. They got flexed against the Vikings on Sunday Night Football, and the Vikings were real good. I think it was Kirk Cousins' first year with the Vikings, and you know that one of my favorite Eddie Jackson pick six, and he intercepted Kirk Cousins. They went into the end zone and started dancing. That was that one, and of course the game you just mentioned, Mikey, against the Rams, which is a interception fest between Goff and Mitch. But that just really showed you they can do this. I'm with you as that to see it's going to be a much different test on Sunday, which is why I'm glad they won yesterday, because I think they're going to lose on Sunday. I'll give my score on Saturday Night the House and then our Friday show. But that's why I was like, I'm glad they won, because you kind of go in there a little freer. But you're really going to see what this defense is about on Sunday when you have a quarterback like C.J. Stroud and you got the receivers like Tank Dell, who had a great game yesterday, and Stephon Diggs. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Nigga ain't take off." You damn right I haven't. Damien. But yeah, that's what I feel, man. So Dante, what was your feeling on the defense, what you saw last night, and their potential?
I liked it a lot. Like I said, first half, it was a lot of the shell, same basic base 4-2. Not too much movement, not too many stunts and things like that. And Will Levis was comfortable and he was able to really sit back there. But at the same time, you saw he was trying to give us the ball. So it was like, okay, if we can get some pressure on this dude, we could mix it up a little bit. He's gonna give it to you, and he did that twice. I think overall, what I said about our defensive backs held true. I think they are going to be elite. Jaquan Brisker was flying all over the place. Like, hopefully, he just don't get no more silly injuries. But he was all over the place. TJ Edwards, I think he had like 17 tackles or something like that, but he was really good as usual. Edmonds, that's the guy who was up and down last season. I think he had an okay year, but I think this is a year 2 in the scheme. You're going to see him really take off. And so I do believe that this defense can be elite. I still need to see more from the defensive line. Walker played well. Taylor, like you said, that looks like a great move by Ryan Poles. He was all over the place, really wreaking havoc. And so going forward, I just want to see them continue to grow together and what those shifts look like on that defensive line, because obviously it looks like it's going to be more of a rotational thing until they get another stud in there on the end or at a nose tackle. So far I was really excited with what I saw from the defense. I think they definitely had the potential to be elite. A few people at work came up to me and said, this y'all had them looking like that defense when y'all made a deep playoff run with Rex Grossman at quarterback. That was more so them trying to take a shot at Caleb, obviously, but I think this defense can be elite.
Yeah, it was those, or as Joe says, when you say you're sitting on the couch, you got your Lance Briggs jersey on, and it's 2005. I don't want to go back to them days. I'm sorry. Like, this is perfect segue into the offense and then what Caleb Williams did. Caleb Williams, first game of his career, he went 14 for 29, 93 yards passing, no touchdown, no interceptions. He got sacked twice. This is what I say about Caleb. I know a lot of people. I saw a lot of jokes. Caleb got a lot of haters on the internet, which is fine. I never had a Bears quarterback who people actually legitimately hated. Outside of Bears fans hating their quarterback, they stink. Speaking of that most hated Bears quarterback, I was on the elevator with Jay Cutler yesterday, which was very, very funny. Jay was in there. First of all, it was typical Jay Cutler. People saying hi to him. He just like, "What's up?" It was an elevator. He had 5 women with him. I don't know if they were like his. I don't know who they were, but he had 5 very drunk white women with him. But it was alumni day, so it was a lot of everybody rolled everybody out yesterday. But Caleb, I'm not worried. I'm not worried whatsoever. I'm not gonna sit up here and say he had a good game. No, he had a bad game. If you're gonna call it like it was a bad game. But I thought he was nervous from what I saw. From the way his body body language was after the game. He definitely was not excited, not happy about the law, happy about his numbers. And he said Jay Cutler got the whole. He might. It was 5 women with him.
They don't call him Cuddy for no reason,
right? But so it kind of felt like he was happy for the win and happy that the defense bailed him out, and that's something you see that this defense has belief in Caleb. When Caleb was being interviewed by Christina Pink, you had Jalen Johnson coming right behind him. He said, "We got your back, 1-8," and Tyree Stevenson said the same thing. And Kevin Byard even said in the post game, like, "Look, there's gonna be some games y'all bail us out, and there's some games we gonna bail y'all out. That's part of having a team." But I feel like he was nervous, which is funny because on Hard Knocks he said that he don't get nervous when he was with the preseason game, which the vibes are completely different in the regular season. And I think he's a little bit too hyped up because there was a throw, DeAndre Carter throw, which he overthrew. He overthrew a couple people that could have been for real big gains. But I think if he hits on that DeAndre Carter throw, and if Keenan Allen actually remembered to catch in the end zone, which is a gimme, he catches that 9 times out of 10, which is the most bear shit ever. Keenan Allen, who I don't know if this nigga even had a drop last year, dropped a gimme in end zone. We're having a different conversation. So I think there's going to be some things that he's going to be much better at this week. But it was definitely a rocky start. He looked like he wasn't. It felt like the moment was a little bit big for him a little bit, and that's normal. He's a rookie, and I do think for the most part, I've seen Bears fans pretty sane when it comes to this particular topic. I haven't seen too many losing their mind about it. But I think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take probably the first month, I believe, to get all the kinks out. But I saw the promise there, too. You also saw the reasons why people are so high up on him and why he's special. But I'm not worried at all. It was a bad performance, but I'm interested to see how it's going to be next week. Mikey, what did you think about Caleb's performance last night?
First off, my lesson to all words of advice to all incoming rookies: just shut the fuck up until you play. Justin Fields had this habit, or he did the same thing his rookie year. He said, "Oh, the speed of the game is not."
Yeah, Joe set him up.
Joe set him up. Caleb saying he's not nervous. Just these are grown men that get paid millions of dollars on the other side too, and they're coming. They're coming after you to kind of prove a point and welcome you. It's orientation to welcome you to the league. So just be quiet, play the game. But that's just for all rookies, not just Caleb. As far as his performance on the field, I agree. You could see that his feet were kind of his footwork was a little kind of like scattery. There were some balls. I felt like he was trying to overthrow the ball, like put a little bit more zip on it than that needed to be. That ball that bounced off and that Rome went up and he threw that shit like 110 miles per hour. There was one where he skipped, had a wide open wide receiver and he skipped it. He bounced it. So I just think he was a little bit nervous. I also think the pressure that he felt from the interior, from T'Vondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons, I think it really affected him, early on in the game. You see that the game is faster. You see that there's 330-pound men that will get to you quicker than some safeties will. I think all of that was just an adjustment. But what I did let's just be real. I hate to do it, and I think we'll probably do it for a year, and then we'll stop with the Justin Fields shit. But that is a game that we 100% lose last year and the last 2 years.
Yeah.
The fact that we can say that at least he didn't turn the ball over and we didn't lose because of him, it's a win. It's a win. You have to kind of find the small wins. It's a win in that part. He was poised. He still was engaged. You see him on the sidelines on the TV cut on Fox, hype after the Stevenson interception. He was there with his guys. His guys backed him up. Let's be real. It's the first time that Caleb has played a game where he wasn't the reason that they won and that the defense actually picked him up. Yeah. So there's a learning curve there. I think that he'll be fine. That is the absolute worst, that I think we're going to see him. There's no way that it can get any bad than that. And just to kind of give you just a little, statistics on rookie quarterback debut stats, it's not just a Caleb Williams thing. If you watched all Sunday, it was a Bo Nix thing. It was a Jaden Daniels thing for the most part, outside of the 2 rushing touchdowns. But including yesterday, the last 30 rookie quarterbacks to debut in the NFL are combined 5 for 24-1.
Mm.
Go back to Andrew Luck, his very first start, 3 picks and a loss to the Bears. Trevor Lawrence was 28 for 51 with 3 picks in his first game in a loss. CJ Stroud last year was 28 for 44 with 0 TDs, 0 picks, but he was sacked 5 times in a loss. So this is just par for the course with rookie quarterbacks. I think this just goes into, kind of the era that we live and everything being so magnified with, social media and everybody being able to have a platform to speak on it. But this is what the NFL has been for rookie quarterbacks making their debut over the last 30 games. So the sky's the limit. He's going to get better. I think you still saw flashes of what he can do. I loved how I wanted more of it as the offense was stuttering, but I wanted him to utilize his legs a little bit more. And he did that, towards the end of the game, picking up a key first down. I think it was on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7 to let Kyron Samuels go ahead and get that field goal. So I think he's going to get better. And, I think Bears fans need to understand, the Bears fans that don't have a personal vendetta against him, I think they just need to kind of understand that there's going to be the trials and tribulations with him and kind of block out that outside noise of everybody trying to troll on him because he's going to get better. You can still see the flashes of him.
Yeah, and I think, I know, shout out to Tiff. She told me she was at the game and there was somebody in a Justin Fields Steelers jersey who was just hating the entire game. Like, my nigga, what you doing here? Like, people like that, I don't understand.
Yeah, if you were already coming after him after yesterday, then you've already had it predetermined in your mind that you're just not fucking with Shorty. So like, let's be real. People want to bring up CJ Stroud, but they don't remember what his week 1 looked like last year. People don't remember that his very first possession, I think the third throw that he had in his first preseason game was a pick 6, so it comes with it. First time or new OC, obviously, for the Bears with this personnel. Got some new players on the offensive line, new skill position players, and you got a new quarterback. So this is what happens.
Dante, what do you feel about Caleb's performance, how you viewed it, and how you feel about it going forward?
Like I said, I just felt like he was just anxious. I'll still stall him out, but I don't get nervous. But I think he definitely was anxious. His feet were moving a lot in the pocket. Like I said, when the sack, when you lose 19 yards, that's something you just can't do in the NFL. This is not, the Pac-12 anymore, where you could just shake off one guy. I know we saw him do it once in the preseason, but it's going to be a different ball game going against ones all game. So overall, I give him like a C. Like I said, I think a lot of those passes that he was skipping, that he was just firing. Mikey made a very good point. I think he was just trying to throw the ball too hard. Like, you could hear the ball hitting the receiver's hands. Like, he was throwing rockets, and it's like, bro, that was an 8-yard pass. You don't have to do that. Just fit it in there, let him get the yards, especially because you got guys like I said Keenan, like Moore, who he gets yards after the catch. So, like, just put the ball in his hands, let him go get it, let him get to it, and you don't have to worry about that. But Mikey, you gave an interesting stat, and I got another one. Since 1970, Caleb's passer rating of 55.7 is the 11th worst debut amongst all quarterbacks picked number 1. But people with some who were worse than him, John Elway, his was a 0. Terry Bradshaw, 19.3. Matthew Stafford, 24.7. Troy Aikman, 40.2. And Eli Manning, 45.1. So, I mean, one bad game at the end of the world. I know a lot of times we look at these number 1 picks, and we will, especially now in our day, we expect them to come out firing, come out just doing their thing. And even with Caleb, we all gave him the benefit of the doubt and expected that. But I think this was a reality check that he really needed, that, it ain't going to be easy. And I really loved everything he said after the game. He said, this isn't the game I wanted, and this won't be what I do. So, just further proof that, he's committed to the work. And the fact that he is an intelligent quarterback, I think he's going to pick up on what happened today, and he's going to grow from it. So, like I said, the overthrow to 11, he'll get that. I see him hitting that pass easily. Keenan doesn't drop that touchdown. It's several plays. Like he also said that if those plays are completed, we're looking at the game completely different. Like, it's a completely different conversation being had. And so I think for a week 1, like I said, I would give him a C. I think, the sky's still the limit because you saw the flashes, you saw the arm strength is there, so he can make any throw when he wants to make it. So it's a matter of him getting comfortable and making those throws in the pocket and combining that with his ability to go and, make off-platform throws on the run. That's cool, but I mean, still, and one thing we said, not to keep bringing up Justin, but one thing about quarterbacks in general is just, sometimes you got to just take what they give you, take what's in front of you. You don't have to extend the play. You don't have to do the
Take the
extras.
layup.
Yeah, just take the layup because like in a few of those plays, those layups could have easily turned into 8 to 15-yard chunk plays because of the players that we have. So that's like I said, just let him get comfortable in there. I think we'll see a different player week 2, and in a few weeks we'll look back at this and it'll be a blip on the radar.
I put a lot of that on Shane Waldron too because I think you have to give Caleb some layup opportunities. I don't think there were many of that. I think when you're struggling, I feel like, kind of short passing game, maybe to the tight ends really weren't utilized that much. I feel like the play calling could have called for some easier completions. We used to see it with Luke Getsy and Justin Fields, cut half the field and, cut the field in half and get him some quick plays. Quick passes that could get into the hands of DJ Moore that he can go ahead and get open in space. So I think Shane Waldron had an iffy day too,
Yeah, Mikey, I agree. And that's why I wanted to see more Cole Kmet. Like, give him a safety blanket. Like, we know Cole is a very reliable guy. Get him out there, and let him use his body, get in space, and just make a couple catches and give him some small little chunk plays that he can pile up and keep drives going. So we're not getting into those 3rd and longs. Well, penalties played into that too, but getting into those 3rd and longs where he has to now drop back in the gun or we got to go 5 wide. But Waldron, I agree that definitely added to it. Waldron and the O-line.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And when you think about how Waldron's play calling looked to me he looked a little nervous too. Like I feel like he has so many weapons, he didn't know what to do with them. You know what I'm saying? I think that it wasn't a great game plan. I also didn't hate it at the same time. Like I said, there was some plays that if they work, we're having a different conversation here. I did not like the fact that we only saw Cole Kmet. Like, he only had 1 target, up to my knowledge. Gerald Everett, only 1 target. Rome, outside of, catching that ball that almost got picked off, we didn't see from him at all. So that I feel like they didn't do a better job of. And like you said, Dante, not even the 3rd and longs. The 3rd and shorts, the 2nd and shorts, make those smarter plays. Like in the last couple years, this team, they make 1-yard plays look like rocket science. Like, keep it simple. And there was too many of those I saw last night as well, where they're just, making things harder for themselves than they needed to be. And that needs to get fixed as well. I think that a lot of the stuff was the run game. The run game as well. I like Khalil Herbert. He don't need to be getting too many snaps. I'm sorry, because he doesn't have the speed that DeAndre Swift has. And DeAndre Swift, like, I really felt like he's real close to breaking one off. When he hopped over that defender, I feel like if he had a little bit more room, that'd have been a touchdown. And it was just bad blocking for him as well. But I think once he figures out, he's got to figure out how to use everybody. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for him. And like you said, Mikey, too, make it easier for your rookie quarterback. There was a little part now, I don't know if it was a 3rd quarter or 4th quarter, where they started speeding up a little bit. And we even saw shots of Caleb telling Shane Waldron, let's get the play to me quicker, was when, he had a couple quick throws to Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift. He had one of DJ Moore. And it felt like they were getting into a rhythm. I want to see more of that. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not overreacting by anything that happened. Even if we sitting up here and the offense put up 35 points last night, you can't get too much dip in your chip. There's 16 more games left. So I feel like he left a lot more to be desired, but I didn't hate it as well. I kind of feel like I kind of grade him and Caleb the same. I give both a C. There's a lot more room for growth, but they also have to learn the mistakes that they took and make sure that doesn't happen again, because you're playing a much better team. If you think you're going to go out there and not score an offensive touchdown against the Texans, you're going to get blown out.
Just one last point. I feel like y'all are being super generous with the C, to be honest, because it didn't throw for 100 yards, no offensive touchdowns. I think overall the offense deserves an F. And I think if we're just grading Caleb, he would probably get a D. And the only reason he doesn't get an F is because he didn't turn the ball over. Like, I think we need to, hold these guys accountable for what it was. Like, it was a terrible, terrible offensive performance. That was the first game in NFL history where a team that was losing by 17 points, scored no offensive touchdowns, and only had 150 yards combined of total offense, won the fucking game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was really bad. Like, there was nothing that was C-worthy for Caleb, Waldron, or the offense. It was bad all around. I feel like they forgot how to play football for the entirety of the game on offense until it kind of came down to kind of wear down the clock, and they were kind of getting in field goal position. But it was really bad, and that's why I say, like, I'm not even tripping. We got to hold them accountable. They look like shit out there, but it can't be any worse than that. And we know through everything that we've seen, Scott, everything you've seen from OTAs, through summer camp, through preseason, through, hard knocks, through being there every week in practice, they're not going to be this bad. It was just kind of that week one outlier. Like, let's be real. That was week 4 of the preseason is how the Bears treated it offensively, where everybody got to play all at once through the majority of a game. And you see now that why reps are important, why continuity is important, and why they need these game reps.
Yeah, I definitely agree with. I see where you're coming from. I still give it a C because I saw the plays there. I think there was some couple drops as well, and also what you just said is the first game. Like, I'm not going to put too much on it either way, even if they went out there and scored 40 points. So I definitely get what you're saying. I'm not letting them off the hook or nothing like that. I just think if we're having a different conversation, if some of those plays get executed, if people if Caleb doesn't do a couple overthrows, if this tackle gets broken down. But I'm looking at the actual play calling of Waldron. I didn't hate it. I saw the potential in it. Now, they definitely have to step it up 100%. Yeah. This game plan is not going to cut it whatsoever.
I think a lot of that was just spoiled too, just because of the inability to run the ball.
Yeah, well, that 100%. If they run the ball, running the ball is the number one thing. I know we get so pass happy in this league. Run the ball. The easier you can make that, then it opens up the play action. We saw no play action down there yesterday. That is what I feel will open it up as well for that. But I'm gonna wrap up these last two real quick, and then we're gonna wrap this up and get into our second block. The offensive line. This to me was the main reason the offense looked bad. We have sat up here for really, I feel like the last couple of years, talking about how bad this offensive line has been, how smelly it's been at center, having a center competition, which I think everybody on this show said during the summer, you cannot be having a center competition. It's too important of a position to be having a competition. And I think, Mikey, you said it, my brother said it on the preview special. It's like Poles built the team in reverse a little bit. And we saw that on full display yesterday. Now, the main sack that happened, which was like a 2nd and 29. Mike, you sent me the clip. It did look like Coleman Shelton tripped over Tevin Jenkins' leg, so that changes things. But there was also 8 to 9 plays where he was just getting his ass bust. That was bad. You see Nate Davis and Ryan Bates, being circled out. Who's less Huff? That was bad as well. And that's why I feel like I had a lot to do with it, because even some of the run calls I didn't have a problem with, because I saw where it could go if there was blocking. And there was just none of that up front whatsoever. Caleb, there's a lot of times, as soon as he's snapping the ball, there's a guy in his face. And what concerned me about that is because this is not something I think is going to change. I don't think this is something you can fix in 6 games. I think this is going to be a problem all season, and it scares me even more because I don't think that Titans defensive line is elite. It's cool, but I think that Houston has a better chance to get in them, and that's my biggest fear from what I've watched yesterday. Dante, what did you think about the offensive line, and like what's your fear level for the rest of the season with this?
It's high. The tackles were good as usual. The interior offensive line was dog shit, bro. Nate Davis should not be on this team anymore. I understand it's $11.6 million cap hit, but at this point he shouldn't play anymore. Like, just flat out. Like, there was so many plays where he was just fucking floating and like not blocking people or missing his block. Shelton was getting cooked. Like, I understand Mikey put it in the chat that he got tripped on the one play where he got blown up. So I'll stall him out for that one. But that stunt that Simmons did wasn't anything spectacular. It was your typical stunt from your DN who came across and he is over there, triple teaming somebody who's already double teamed. Somebody he's going over to give help where a man is double teamed already. It's like things like that shouldn't be happening. But I guess if you want to stall them out and say, well, they didn't really play together in preseason, and okay, I'll say that. But for me, I'm very concerned about the interior O-line. Tevin Jenkins, he's solid, but I mean, with Tevin, we got to hold our breath and pray he stays healthy. So I'm definitely more concerned with the center right guard, so that B gap. But I agree. I think that was a lot of reasons you couldn't establish the run, because plays were getting blown up before they could start. We couldn't run a bootleg because every time Caleb turned around, somebody was in his face. So, and I think that kind of Mikey led into why I said a C, because I mean, a lot of the plays that he wanted to run, he could not run. So yeah, he missed some throws, but I think a lot of the lack of rhythm was from the fact that he had somebody in his grill every play. So at this point, I am highly concerned, simply because I want him to be able to establish himself and establish that rhythm. And as we all know, because we've been saying it for 3 years. If you don't have an O-line, if you can't win in the trenches, you're not going to do anything. So it don't matter how great he is. We can't go out here and expect this kid to make, miraculous plays every fucking game. It has to get to a point where we can just run the offense and not worry about, our center being on his back 5 times in a game.
Mikey, I got a 2-part question. One was, you think about the performance. We got Bang here as well. Bang Wom's getting back off his report. Mikey, what did you think about what you saw? And since we all know this is not going to be something that's going to be fixed, how can the coaching staff, I guess, work around the faulty offensive line, if they can at all?
Oh shit. I honestly don't know, because they've been preaching continuity, and I know they want to give it an honest chance with this 5 out there right now. The biggest thing for me after yesterday, and we had kind of, going into the preview season, we had mentioned, your brother and I have mentioned the interior offensive line. Going into the Titans preview game, we have mentioned the interior of the offensive line. I think a lot of Bears fans now are a little bit more hip and will give the due respect to Jeffrey Simmons and to Tavondre Sweat, because that is a really good duo of interior, defensive linemen. Now, when you go play a team like the Texans, I think you are now going to see the opposite. This is a team with really good edge rushers. You got Danielle Hunter, you got Will Anderson Jr. So now I think we're going to see the tackles be a little bit more under pressure, and we have to see how they hold up. The biggest thing for me is just the lack of resources that Ryan Poles has put into it, like honest resources. Outside of drafting Darnell Wright, which is good. You went and got you drafted a tackle within the top 10. He has neglected the rest of the line. What do we got? Darnell Wright on a rookie contract. Braxton Jones, a 5th-round pick on a rookie contract. Tevin Jenkins, left guard on a rookie contract. Coleman Shelton making $3 million as, to play center. And then you have the highest paid, right guard in the league, who is virtually unplayable right now. It's clear neglect. I wish that he took the offensive line serious. I'm tired of hearing he's a former offensive lineman. He should know what it looks like. He doesn't know what it should look like. There needs to be actual dollars and actual draft capital spent on improving this line if you want to have that offense that we all envision with Caleb Williams. It's just, for me, it's negligence. It's like I said, like I was texting you, there's a reason why Coleman Shelton makes 3 years and all of these other, centers, Creed Humphrey's making $75 million a year. Yep. $75 million contract. These are people that are really paid. And I know I've seen a lot on Bears Twitter today. I had kind of referenced that hopefully with that 2nd round pick next year from the Panthers, if it's high as we expect, or even our pick, that they do attack the center position and they take one high. I see a lot of people saying use that 2nd round pick this year to trade for a center. If you have a good center, teams are not giving them up.
Right, 100%. Exactly.
You probably need to identify a team that is going to be in a situation that we were in 2 years ago. Just so bad that they need to rebuild. They need to cut salary. They're going to start over and go on a 3 to 4 year rebuild. But I don't know who those guys are. As I was looking earlier at some of the top centers, that PFF has them ranked. Like, you get all the way to 15. The first 15 are all on playoff teams. You're not just going to get one of those guys. So I think that this is going to have to be piecemeal throughout the season. If there's another 2 games where Coleman Shelton kind of looks bad, and I don't even know if they give Nate Davis 2 more games, honestly, to start at right guard. Ryan Bates was out for the majority of the preseason after the first game with the injury, and he played, he outsnapped Nate Davis yesterday, and I feel like he kind of held his own as best as he could for somebody who really, didn't start practicing in full until last week. So I just think that this is something that they're going to have to get creative with. We might have to possibly see Ryan Bates move into at center at some point later this year. You put Matt Pryor at guard, but hopefully that's down the road. They're going to have to figure it out for now, but this is just, shining a big flashlight on the number one hole on this team, and it's the trenches, protecting the quarterback and affecting the quarterback. On the defensive end, there were too many times that Will Levis kind of went untouched and had time to kind of slide up in the pocket, and that just can't happen. The better quarterbacks will slide up in the pocket and beat us downfield for 40 yards. So, I think just Ryan Poles still has to continue to identify, important pieces to fix the trenches.
Bang, we only got probably like 5 minutes before we move on to the next. Just give us your thoughts on everything you saw since you weren't able to talk earlier.
Let's start with what y'all was talking about. First of all, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, because there's been a lot of stuff going on, man. But let's start with what y'all just got through talking about. What Mikey just got through talking about is the offensive line. I think a lot of what we saw with that offensive line is what I expected to see anyway. Jeffrey Simmons was waiting for this game. Jeffrey Simmons was waiting for this moment. They have a stout defensive interior. I knew there was going to be problems. I knew it was going to be issues. If anything, I was more confused about the play calling. The play calling on the offensive side did not seem like to me that you was prepared for a stout defensive interior that you was going up against. I know they was trying to do the screens, but they knew when the screens was coming, when it was coming every time. So I felt like they needed to change some things around, and I think that's why the offense looked the way that it did, because you didn't have the game plan that was going to work against a team who's been preparing for this day for so long. So I'm going to chalk this one up to Jeffrey Simmons and Sweat being who they are, and we'll see coming up against the Titans on Sunday night when you have 2 edge rushers that are elite going up against Jones and what's my man name?
Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, our right tackle. I forgot my man name that quick. There's a lot of stuff going on, but our tackles. I am more interested to see now what it looks like on the exterior. With that being said, hey, look, that defense looked like shit the first half. They looked like gold the second half. The second half, that defense looked like the defense that we was expecting to really hold the team down. Even though I think that Caleb Williams is going to still have a strong year, the reason why I felt like he was going to have a strong year is because of what you saw yesterday. The defense going to get them the ball back. So he's going to have more chances to sling that joint around. So I was not worried when we were down 17-0. And what I'll say is this is the first time probably in my history of being a Bears fan where the Bears was down that much. And I was like, oh, no, we're going to win this game. I know Courtney is not here with us today, but I sent up in the text group that
she brought in.
Okay, well, I said that the Tennessee Titans was ass. She was like, yo, I don't know, hey, that team, and they ended up being ass. So I think it was the offense being shell-shocked, the defense being a bit shell-shocked because they're now going back on the field. But they did what I expected to do. And what I still expect to happen is for this defense to carry the offense because the offense takes longer to gel than it does on the defense. Then on the back half, you're going to see the offense a bit more. What I will say is that even though you're dealing with probably at least one Pro Bowler and one future Pro Bowler on that defensive interior for the Tennessee Titans, they better get it fixed. They got to get it fixed fast because that interior looked terrible. Now the defensive side of it, hey, Dexter got his shit off a little bit, you know. And I think Darnell Taylor turned out to be the surprise that we was hoping for. I want to see more of a rotation with him and Austin Booker still, though, to keep both of them fresh and to go after it. But that second half is what I expect to see more of. And once that offense get to clicking, this is why I think this team is going to be a team to be reckoned with. Because I think as the year go on, they're going to gel, and they're going to be okay.
Definitely, man. That is all we've got for y'all for the local hour. We back in like a minute. Wait a minute. My bad.
I ain't get to do it in the beginning, so
go ahead.
This was the local hour.
There we go. There we go. We was missing the vocals, man. We'll be back in like a minute. We're going to be breaking down week 1 of the NFL. And then we've got the homie Chuck English. He's going to come and talk about his Detroit Lions. We're going to ask the question, is Matthew Stafford the best quarterback in the NFC? And then, we're going to get into some Browns talk, Falcons, a whole bunch of other stuff, man. We'll be right back.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
And we are back. Shout out to everybody who sent in orders for the Barbershare Net shop. All orders have been sent out, so we appreciate you. Keep ordering. We got some new stuff coming. We're going to be debuting a but 7 Nights in Hallis 10th season special shirt and hoodie, so look out for that, man. But we are back to talk a little week 1, man. It was a very, very busy morning yesterday. I got to Soldier Field around 9:45-ish to get ready for the game, to kind of beat the early traffic. And man, there's a lot of news. First, we had Tyreek Hill getting arrested. We'll get to that in a minute. But news that came out of nowhere. Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it isn't actually football. Kendrick Lamar was named as the Super Bowl 59 halftime performer. I was wondering when they were going to announce it. They hadn't announced it yet. In typical K-Dot fashion, he just put a couple words on his Twitter and sent the link out. As you can see right here, he will be performing at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. I'm not going to go full in depth on my opinion on this. I'm going to say that for summer sessions tomorrow with me, Bang, Pav, and Merk, and we can get real into our music bag a little bit. But I will say this. First of all, I'm going to say something that I feel like ain't been said. Congratulations to Kendrick for getting this. He is the first rapper. Dr. Dre's not a rapper, for y'all say. First rapper to headline the Super Bowl. And that's big for him. He's had a massive year. He is the hottest rap artist of this year. And to have that cap off, I'm pretty sure the album is going to be coming right around that time. Shout out to him and Dave Free. The way PG Lane, presents everything to me is just dope. Now, granted, I am biased. I am admittedly a Kendrick Lamar stan. There's only one rapper to ever come out that I'm a bigger fan of, and that just happens to be the guy who booked it for this, Mr. Sean Carter himself. But I think it's going to be an amazing performance. Whatever you feel about Kendrick or not, I'm here not to debate that. He's an amazing performer, and I think it's going to be an amazing thing. Now, the one thing that Twitter was upset about is Lil Wayne not performing. Now, I will say this. I do believe Lil Wayne is going to be involved in this somehow. Outside of the fact that Kendrick is a massive Lil Wayne fan, it's there. There's a couple things I want to say about that. One, just because Dr. Dre performed in LA doesn't mean that every city they're gonna have to bring somebody from that. Now, I am not a Lil Wayne fan. I used to be one. I was a fan of Wayne from Carter 1 to about Drought 3-ish. Drought 3 is when I got off the bandwagon, when everybody just, in my opinion, just went too damn far with it. Do I think Wayne is a legend? I'm not here to talk about he's not a legend. I had fun trolling his fans last night because they get very, very passionate about that nigga, and I love pissing them off. But he is a legend. You can't talk about anything with what his impact is to the game. I think he has some songs for Super Bowl, but I think the bigger thing is he's not the best performer. I mean, we just saw what the nigga did at the Essence Fest and at WrestleMania. You want that on the big stage? Let's be honest about that now. But I think that people were just outrageous. And the funny thing to me is a couple years ago, first, people were mad at Jay-Z for even doing work in the NFL. And now they want to tell this nigga who to hire. And everybody doing these conspiracy theories. Oh, he's doing this to get at Drake. He's doing this to get at Wayne. He hates Wayne. He don't hate Wayne. You was just with the nigga 2 weeks ago. He gave that nigga $14 million to help him get out of jail. I mean, get out of his tax debt. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't sound like somebody who hates somebody. You know what I'm saying? Now, I also find it funny. Let's just live in this hypothetical world that he was trying to be petty with Drake or somebody. I think it's pretty funny that the same people who said that Drake was the boss for blocking TD from performing in Canada, they the same ones calling Jay a sucker if that was true. Just want to put that out there. But I think it's going to be a great performance. It was hilarious to see YMCMB crash out, or somebody tweeted YMCTE, which is pretty funny. But I think it's going to be a great show. And let's be real. That's 5 months from now. Y'all going to be sitting up there enjoying the performance anyway. You better enjoy it because this is the last year of Jay's deal with the NFL anyway. They're going to start rolling Bruce Springsteen's old ass about that next year, or Sting or Bono or one of them old white niggas again. And you need to be happy because it could have been Taylor Swift.
Hey, no, Scott. Now, I'm telling you about now. I'm about to tell you right now. I'm going to cut in a little bit because I'm going to tell you right now. Morgan Wallen is going to be the next year's headliner.
Okay, also, white nigga. Yeah.
Also, it's going to be Jelly Roll, Post Malone, and Shabuzi. That's going to be next year. Just let y'all know.
Yeah.
It'll be Morgan Wallen, Jelly Roll, Shabuzi, and Post Malone. Go ahead. You heard it from JR Bang right now. Look, I wanted to cut in because I wanted you to say some of this stuff for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wanted to just cut in, get my Gary Payton on the still, because I think you said what all needed to be said here. I wish a nigga who hated me and didn't want me to perform at the Super Bowl gave me $14 million.
Right.
Hey, if a nigga hate me that much to give me $14 million to keep me out of jail and do all of those shits, I gotta perform. If the nigga told me, hey man, this is how we gonna do it. All right, cool. Man gave me $14 million to get me out of tax debt and some other stuff. You got it. What we have to stop doing here, people, is stop scaring the hoes. What I mean by that is simple. You got a whole bunch of non-people of color who are watching us, who are talking about why Lil Wayne should be performing at this joint because it's New Orleans. When outside of the outlier, somebody performed in their hometown. So, if this is the case, y'all niggas would have rather had Trick Daddy and Trina than Prince.
or remember, they remind me a couple years ago, Trick Daddy and Trina over Shakira.
Over Shakira. Y'all didn't say anything when Beyonce performed
in New Orleans.
13 in New Orleans.
Which would have made more sense to have Wayne at that time.
At that time, it would have made hell of more sense to have Lil Wayne in 2013 than he did now. I like Wayne. Don't get me wrong. I'm a May Wayne fan. Wayne don't still perform. If he wants to, Wayne will be there. Would I mind? Would I mind Wayne being there? Yes and no. Here's why. Because outside of Wayne, y'all niggas want to hear Turk at the Super Bowl.
Well, somebody said you want to see Fiend come out the No Limit logo.
You want to hear Fiend do Mr. Like, come on, man. Like, we gotta. The shit ain't till February 9th, fam. It ain't till then. Just wait.
Yeah.
Now you've ignited some bullshit because now half of the people that's on YNCMB on cocaine is taking sniffs and getting on Twitter saying bullshit. Now Jay-Z a house nigga? Y'all tripping.
Go ahead, Dante.
I'm gonna say more than anything, as a nigga that's seen Lil Wayne perform recently, he don't have a 15-minute show in him. Like, he don't got it in him. He don't got it in him, bro. He only sings the hooks from the songs now. Man. He forgets his lines. He said this. Y'all saw the interview with bro spit the line back to him. He said, "Who said that?" I said that. Like, no, just not. Like, I love Wayne. Like, Wayne is in my top 5 all time. But no, this is not the stage for him to do the whole show. I still think he'll be a surprise performer. And as usual, niggas are jumping the gun with their complaints. And then I guarantee you, if he does pop out, they're gonna sit here and say, see, we forced him to do that. We are, speaking out works. Like, no, dummy. It's a show that's 5 months from now that it hasn't even been put together. We know Kendrick and Dave Free are gonna do a great job because we saw what they did with the little piece they got in the Dre show. So I think it's gonna be a great performance, but like again, as somebody who loves Wayne and has seen the nigga perform recently, he don't have a Super Bowl in him. No, he don't.
Hey, Mikey, let me ask you a question because you just spent a lot of time in Miami. I don't want to say nothing about Trick Daddy and Trick. You want to see Briscoe at the motherfucking at the Super Bowl? You want to see Briscoe?
Pitbull and Flow Rider. Fuck you mean?
Right. Nah, nobody or fucking what's my man name? Zoe
Zoe Dollars or whatever.
Zoe Dollars, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to see Zoe Dollars.
Let me ask y'all a question, because Scott, I kind of disagree with you on the songs. I think Lil Wayne has songs that you could perform.
He 100%. That's the thing. He 100% has the catalog because
wait a minute. Hit me out. He has the catalog to perform at the Big Jam, at the Summer Jam, at his own arena tour. But we talk about TV at the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
So y'all want to hear raps referencing eating pussy all over the Super Bowl? Did y'all see what happened?
Long as my bitches love me.
Did y'all see what happened? Did y'all see what happened with Janet Jackson?
Yeah.
When the titty popped out?
Yeah, we are. I was.
Nigga, Fox will have, as soon as Lil Wayne accidentally say pussy, there will be so many goddamn complaints.
They tackling that nigga off the stage.
FCC, look, I work in broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. The FCC and the shit, that shit is nothing to fuck with. Because as soon, and when I tell you, as soon as Lil Wayne fuck up and forget not to say pussy on camera, there's gonna be so many complaints to the FCC. There's gonna be so many people that has the email set the draft that night. And as soon as Lil Wayne say, he got pussy, well, the emails are coming, the mails are coming, and networks get fined for that.
You got Tony Romo on. We apologize for what you guys.
We apologize for that. I saw people talking about you could blank it out. No, if that was the case, we barely saw Janet Jackson's titty, and CBS had to pay a big ass fine for that. They had to pay a big ass fine for that. So I'm with y'all. I love Wayne, but this ain't it. He could go and perform something real quick out of the catalog that's not going to get niggas in trouble. But as soon as the nigga do Lollipop and fuck up, and I don't want to hear Lollipop at the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear that. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to hear Lollipop at the Super Bowl.
I don't want to hear Lollipop on a regular ass Wednesday.
And Dante, and I think Dante was right. It rained on a goddamn spring day. We love Wayne, but that nigga's one of the worst performers I've ever seen in my life. And I saw a lot of rappers, local and national. That man, he's the rapper for me that I was so disappointed in seeing live, because I was like, damn, I was really waiting for Lil Wayne. Like, oh shit. And he sings the hook. He barely raps the lyrics. He just sings the hook and then stops and says, I love all my fans. Ooh, you can't do that at the Super Bowl. Nigga, as soon as that goddamn screen come down and the dude with the voice of God goes, and now the 2025 Apple Music NFL Super Bowl halftime show. Well, the NFL halftime show presented by Apple Music, starring Lil Wayne and friends, starts now. That nigga got to perform from that time for at least 11 minutes straight, no stopping. He can't just be.
Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly. Nigga, you got to run around.
He can't light a blunt. Like, because every show he performs, let's not forget, he has several blunts lit throughout the show. Like, he don't. Come on, bro. No.
we'll divulge more into this on summer sessions. I got a lot more to say. And Pavi also put a tweet that said, "Can Wayne even sell out arena by himself?" That I want to talk about on this. So tune in tomorrow on the Patreon. But we're gonna bring Courtney in right now. We're gonna talk a little bit about week 1. I know we only got like 15 minutes before our guest comes. And 15 minutes before Mikey got to get up out of here. But first of all, Courtney, how you feeling?
Yeah, how you feeling?
The voice is a little lost, but we're here, and we're thriving. Happy that football is back.
Oh, yeah, so I'll stop talking. Oh, okay, there we go.
Good talk, everybody. Thank you.
Hey, Courtney. Hey, Courtney.
I can't get up. It's lovely to see you, Courtney.
It's lovely to see you, Courtney.
I thought Scott was going to say something, but he put his headphones back on.
I had to take my shades off.
I just want to let you know that Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans is ass. Like I said in the text group, the thread, they're ass with a capital ass.
Week 1 is crazy. Week 1
is ass with a capital ass.
I still stand by what I said.
Well, there you go.
Speaking of week 1, we're gonna. I'm gonna go to Mikey first because Mike, I know you gotta get out here in like 15 minutes. What do you, out of the topics we have on here, which one are you the most passionate about that you want to talk about so we can get you out the way?
Oh no, I mean, if just going through the list of topics, it'll definitely just be the week 1 performance. I was saying it. Mind you, I was about like 8 shots of Don Julio 70 in before halftime.
Don Julio's having an amazing summer, by the way.
Oh yeah. That 70 is that shit. I'm always down for a good Cristalino, but I was looking. We got like a 100-foot projector on the wall at my man's house in the basement, and then we have a 60-inch flat screen on the side of the wall that was logged in the red zone. So we got the Bears in red zone. And I just kept looking back and forth, and I was like, man, there's some bad football being played. And you know me, I have always been a proponent of teams need to take the preseason more serious, because it always feels like for the last few years that teams basically mail in the first month of the season. September is basically their preseason. And it just makes for a bad viewing product. Like after you take away the excitement and the joy of like, oh shit, football's back. I got fantasy, I got parlays, we got, every team, yesterday was the only day where everybody had optimism for their team. You see how quickly that shit went
very quickly.
For the Panthers, for the Browns, for the Giants, for the Raiders. Like you just see it all for the Falcons. The Falcons were as talked about as one of the top 3 teams talked about, and you see they can only muster 10 points, and you see it and you're just like, shit, there's some bad play. I just want to give you kind of a statistic to let you know, not only for what we saw passing wise out of our beloved team, the Bears and Caleb Williams, but throughout the league. The average amount of passing yards in yesterday's games was a combined 185 yards. That is not good. That is not good. Outside of Tua putting up 338 and Baker 289, everybody else, Derek Carr, 200 yards. And I mean, he had a bomb to Rashid Shaheed first drive. That game was out of hand early. But when you look back at it, Daniel Jones, 186, Jalen Daniels, 184, Dak, 179, Geno, 171, Deshaun 169, Joe Burrow 164, Kyler 162, Trevor 162, Caleb 94 fucking yards. Like, I think teams just need to put more of an emphasis in playing their guys in preseason. If you want to sit them that last game of the preseason, that's fine. But I don't think there's no reason why teams shouldn't be playing their guys a full entire half for 3 or, for 2 out of the 3 games or 3 out of the 4 games in the preseason, because it's just a bad overall product. And you're putting a lot of pressure on your guys to perform in October, November, December when you're mailing in games in September. And this is not baseball. You don't get 162 of them. You only get 17.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I also don't like how they take the preseason because and not just as a media member too. Like if I'm gonna be there the whole time, I want you guys to be playing better. You know what I'm saying? Like to see y'all actually take this stuff seriously. And if you're a fan, we're basically subjected to terrible football for the first 2 to 3, 4 weeks because they're trying to get the kinks out. Like even Patrick Mahomes didn't even have a good game this week. And I think honestly it's gonna get worse. I think that the more time goes on, they're gonna start taking preseason less and less serious, especially if they go to an 18-game season, which is probably eventually gonna happen, and they have more games that happen throughout the week. And it's just gonna get worse and worse. It's a terrible product. I always say that bad football is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good. But I want to have it be at a better level. And I just don't think there's a way to make it that way. Courtney, what do you think? Do you think there's any solution to making this play get any better?
No, I mean, besides obviously keeping, like, it's a long season. Sorry about my voice. It's a long season. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe if more people took the preseason seriously, I don't know if there is a solution. You got to shake the rust off. It's a long off season. That's really all I got. The season for most teams ended in what, January?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a long time to not be playing your respective sport. I know they got training and camp and mini camps and all that, but that's a long time to not be playing a physical game like football. So I mean, listen, it'll be better in a couple of weeks, but I'm not too worried about week 1.
Let's move on to probably the biggest story of the morning yesterday. Tyreek Hill got arrested on his way to Hard Rock Stadium. He was cited for what do they call it? No seatbelt, driving recklessly. I never been to Miami a day in my life, but I have been in game day traffic. And I know it's kind of borderline impossible to drive recklessly around the stadium. The thing where, to me, what pissed me off, and I'm glad Tyreek said this in his post game. By the way, this picture right here, I'm scoring a touchdown and Jalen Waddle putting the cuffs on him. Hilarious. By the way, I'm glad he was able to make a light of it. He said himself in the post game, imagine if I wasn't Tyreek Hill. How was that going to end up for me? And it wasn't just Tyreek Hill, it was his teammate Calais Campbell, who tried to, calm it down and bring things a little bit back to reality, and the cops wouldn't do it. To me, it's this simple as this. First of all, I don't fuck with police. Like I know I'm not saying all police are bad. My godfather's police officer. They're not all. I know good police officers, but as a whole, I'm just not a fan. I think they were being assholes, and I think they were trying to make an example out of this rich nigga here. That how dare you defy me and just put him on the floor. That it was just too much for a minor traffic violation. First of all, if I was an athlete, I would definitely want Drew Rosenhaus as my agent. The way he handled that situation, I think anybody want their agent to handle that way. But I think it was just too much, man. It was too much. And even in a situation as light as sports, it still shows the reality of the stuff that black men, not just black people, but specifically black men, we deal with when it comes to the law enforcement. It don't matter if you're rich or you're poor. And it could have been a lot worse for Tyreek Hill. Dante, what'd you take from what happened yesterday and just really how Tyreek went out there and balled out anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was definitely a cop trying to, make an example out of a rich person. You saw him, put hands on him, real excessive, unnecessary. And I get what he was getting at with the, what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? But I mean, the answer to that is if you would already be in jail for several other things, nigga, if you wasn't Tyreek Hill. But I mean,
that's also very true.
I get what you meant by that. I see what you were getting at.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so no, it was one of those situations where, like, yeah, it was foul, it was unnecessary. And it's just something that I think, as much as we continue to talk about it, we're going to continue to see it in America because a lot of things aren't going to change until you have a mentality change, and you can't change somebody else's mentality. I can't make you stop doing dumb shit. Like racism at its core is just stupid. But to see him, like you said, this excessive force when at this point you're in Miami, even if you don't watch football, you're on the Dolphins security beat. You know who the fuck the players are, bro. And this man in this Phantom is clearly somebody that's going to the players' parking lot, and you do all this extra shit. So, I mean, it was crazy, but I mean, he was professional about it. He came to the game, he took care of business, and I think that he's still one of the best players in the league. So, it's just unfortunate he had his his pregame routine messed up, but at the same time, Tyreek Hill is great at what he does, and he went out there and did what he needed to do for his team.
Mikey, we won't let you go off on this one, and you can get up out of here. You lived in Miami for a long time, so you know how the police out here. Did anything about this situation shock you or anything?
No, I knew there was there had to be, I think in everything there's three sides to a story. There's Tyreek's side, there's the Miami-Dade police side, and then there's somewhere the truth in the middle. But they are very overzealous. They are very overzealous, and I could kind of see that that they were probably on a little bit more high alert. You got to take into account it's week 1, it's opening day at Hard Rock Stadium. You got a lot of people there. I mean, people start tailgating over there like around 7 a.m. So there's always a heavy police presence. The one thing about where their stadium is, it's like there's like massive streets. They're like 4 lanes. So he was probably, we'll see, probably zooming in and out trying to get there because there's hella traffic over there. But I thought it was par for the course for how the Miami-Dade Police Department acts. They are really overzealous. They do kind of take it a lot further than it needs to be. And I'll just be straight up honest with you. Miami is racist. There are a lot of racist people down in that city, especially from the police department. I no longer live there, but Miami Beach specifically is notoriously racist. They just don't want black people around. So the same way Dante said, you know who it is. You know it's Tyreek Hill. I know that the police union came out and they said that he was combative and he was not basically cooperating with them, so they kind of had to take it to that level. Tom Pelissero actually just tweeted right now that the Miami-Dade Police Department Director, Stephanie V. Daniels, has put out a statement. In our commitment to transparency and maintaining public trust, we are releasing the body-worn camera footage related to the recent incident involving Tyreek Hill. While standard protocol is to release body cam footage after the internal review is concluded, the available body cam footage, which is a combined 105 minutes and 33 seconds, is being released the day following the incident to reinforce the department's commitment to keeping the public informed. The department is committed to conducting a thorough, objective investigation into this matter, and we will continue to update the public on the outcome. I think 2 hours ago, the union came out and they kind of were, heavy-handed, and our police officers did the right thing. Tyreek wasn't cooperating, and they had to reposition him down to the ground. We all saw it. They forcefully threw that man on the ground. And now with them saying that they're going to release 105-minute body-worn camera footage, I think they're going to try to make an example out of Tyreek. You got to look at it on both sides. Tyreek probably came in with I'm fucking Tyreek Hill, let me through probably mentality, So we're going to see either way. I think it's a bad look for all involved. I think it's a bad look for Tyreek. I think it's a bad look for the Miami-Dade Police Department. I think it's a bad look for the NFL. You never want to see your star player literally being detained right outside of the stadium 2 hours before, kickoff. So it's bad, but I think we also need to kind of remain objective, and we can't sit here and crucify Rashee Rice and always make comments about him and saying he shouldn't have played last week, and because he was reckless, and actual people got hurt there. Fortunately nobody was hurt here, but you gotta be both ways. You can't have one guy breaking the law and everybody want to troll him and deservedly so make comments on him for being irresponsible and putting people in harm's way. But then if it is true that Tyreek was speeding and driving recklessly, then, say, oh no, they shouldn't have, acted that way. I think it's unfortunate, but that body worn camera is gonna show it all. And I think, the officers being immediately kind of like downgraded from their position and kind of being put on leave, I think we're gonna see that they definitely acted, with some unnecessary force for the situation.
Definitely, man. Mikey, we will holler you. You'll be on Friday, right?
Yeah, I'll be on Friday. We went 3-2 on our picks. I don't have nothing for y'all today. I'm trying to be a good man and not gamble on Mondays. Very tricky game to call, but if I was looking at it, Deebo Samuels over 69.5 receiving and rushing yards. But hey, what do I know?
What does he know? You can follow him at Junior_Solito. And Mikey will holler at you on Friday, bro.
I'll let y'all.
As we wait for our guests to arrive, man, I just want to talk about Jordan Love real quick. Jordan Love strained his MCL. Well, that's what they're calling it. Strained his MCL this past Friday night in Sao Paulo, Brazil, for the first ever NFL Brazil game. They ended up losing that game to the Philadelphia Eagles, thank God, because they're in last place. And it might not, I know that might not only last long, you know what I'm saying? It's 1 week, but I'm going to take what I can get. All jokes aside, I did tweet the Drake, oh my goodness, gift when it happened. Nobody wants to see anybody hurt. They said that, he should be out 3 to 6 weeks, but the way that Matt LaFleur was talking today, I don't think it's going to be that long. I think it's going to be something where it's maybe only 2-3 weeks or something like that. But I think for the Bears, not even the Lions don't need this. The Lions are going to be good. You need to take advantage of him being out there, man. So we're going to have more on that in just a moment. We'll get back to that, but I want to bring our guest in, friend of the program, one half of the legendary Cool Kids, Mr. Chuck English himself. Chuck, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Let's talk
How you
about
feeling?
it. Well, you know how I'm feeling. Keep my shoulders. Yeah.
No, you feeling good, man. Coming off that dub, your Lions won a nice overtime victory last night, 26-20 over the Los Angeles Rams, rematch last year's playoff game. Man, that final drive, that was one of them. What the Beast Mode say? Sometimes you just gotta knock a motherfucker down. That's just pretty much that last drive.
Yeah, right. Well, he said run through a motherfucker face.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Tell me what you thought about that win and everything going on with the Lions. We haven't spoke to you since prior to the playoffs.
Yesterday it wasn't expected, but it's the culture we've been building. And I think any other coach would have tried to call a pass play. Mm-hmm. I rock with, you know what I'm saying, the shit that Dan Campbell does, NFC Championship. That's why I drove home and I was happy because, you know what I'm saying, he gonna do what we got to do. Is the NFC Championship. You should be going on fourth down. Mm. Yesterday we were supposed to run the ball, and the way David Montgomery has been performing and acting, it's just like y'all had him. I don't even want to get into that, but it's like
I love Debo, but I'm not losing sleep over and not having Debo.
Yeah, I don't understand why y'all let that man go. That shit blows me because his lower power, bro. Like y'all, if y'all watched that game last night, all that was keeping your legs moving. If you play football, you've heard that. Keep your legs moving. Now we do have an elite offensive line. But the fact that we didn't try to do nothing that was outside of our bounds was why I love this team. That's why I got this jersey on. I got every single color of everybody. Shit, I'm about to get my J-Mo jersey right now. As soon as we get up.
J-Mo had a big game. I'm not cool with the full season of J-Mo. Like he's that good. He's that explosive. I know me and my guy JR Bang here, as Bang says, I regretfully have picked y'all to come out the NFC this year. That's my.
I ain't doing that shit.
That's why. Look, let me bring up what I hit you with last night.
Okay.
Let me be disruptive.
Okay.
And I always appreciate your sports takes. You know, we follow each other on Twitter and all that. What's the difference between Kyler and Caleb?
I think number one, it's height. He's taller.
Okay, but do that matter?
Matter? And football, 100%.
You think
100%? 100%. I mean, there's some people who think Caleb's short. That was the number one thing when they were having during the combine. He's only 6'1", but I think he's way more talented. And by the way, I don't hate Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. I don't think he's outstanding. But obviously, as a Bears fan, if he ended up being Kyler Murray, I think it would be disappointing because of how much we have all the expectations for Caleb Williams, but I think that his ceiling is way higher than Kyler.
Now, do you think this? Now, I'm down to accept that. But do you think that Eberflus cares about y'all line of scrimmage the way that Dan Campbell does?
I don't think it's not even Eberflus. I think that Ryan Poles, the general manager, might not care. He says he does, but we just talked about that in the first hour. That offensive line was god awful. Y'all got some beast on that front line, and that really helps Jared Goff not do Jared Goff shit.
Did you see the Penei Sewell speech prior to the game?
I saw that. Yeah, that dude's
that man could have told me to do anything after that. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think, we always got a cousinship, Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, y'all had my college years, man. Y'all went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman, dog.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we would have never made it to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, y'all got a great opportunity here. I think coming off, the NFC Championship game loss, which you said you didn't have a problem with Dan Campbell going on fourth down. What do you think are going to be some of the hurdles that you guys might face with having a first place schedule, and with everybody expecting you guys to now take that next leap and actually get to the Super Bowl?
Yesterday was a great show of what we want to be, meaning like we took care of things at the cornerback position. Everything was in front of the ball. Then nobody get nothing. It wasn't nothing. And didn't shit get loose. I felt so good about that because if I played football, to see us really take care of things at the spot that we were supposed to, like, if you follow the Detroit Lions accounts and all that, you saw Dan Campbell give out the balls, and it was to Montgomery and Alizoni. And it's just like we kept things in front of us. Our rookie cornerback really kind of locked up Cooper Kupp. He kind of did. It was like he didn't, but he did. And he's a rookie.
He did his best.
He did, bro. But look, the thing that they talked about was the Rams gave us their best, bro. I haven't really seen Matt Stafford play mistake-free like that, bro. Like, I've been a Matt Stafford fan since he got drafted. I have a Matt Stafford Rams jersey, but it's in my storage. You know what I'm saying? We ain't putting that bitch back on no more.
Right.
What I'm saying is I watched that man give us his all.
Yeah.
And our all beat them. And that shit was beautiful to watch. I think where we might have struggles is like people zoning in on Amon-Ra. You know what I mean? Like we forced a couple passes to him that didn't end up being beneficial for us. I know we want to get him involved. I know we want to get Khalif Raymond involved. But like if it's not working, then fuck it. Like that's the only thing that I think is gonna be an issue is, Laporta, he got a little bit of wiggle, but everybody was on Amon. It was on Amon-Ra, and then every time we tried to force the ball to him, that's when it didn't go our way. And I know like the receivers documentary and all that shit is cool, but you the man now. You wasn't the man before.
Yeah. And he's been paid like
and now Jameson, no one is scouting for him. They don't know what his capability is. So yesterday, now you're like, oh, this a taller Tariq. You feel me what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For the conversation that him and the corner had, we was like, yeah, it's louder than Tuscaloosa in here. We Alabama University as a professional team. So you got to really let us cook. But I think that our only weakness is making sure Amon-Ra is happy. And so it's almost like how y'all are. Like I was a former Bears fan. 0-16 Lions, y'all motherfuckers went to the Super Bowl, and I'll go to college in Chicago. So like, the fuck you think I'm about to do? I ain't give up on my team, but I'm like, this is right.
You had to
here.
look around other way. Exactly.
I am grocery shopping at Jewel Osco right off the Roosevelt. You feel me? Like something gonna happen. I think the thing that I think that we could be the most powerful division in football in the next 2 years, especially if
100%. 100%. I definitely get that.
Especially when JJ come back. Because I watched you hate on JJ, bro. Like,
I'm not a JJ fan.
I know you're not.
Bang, what'd you say JJ gonna be?
I know you're not. I know you're not, but you know what I'm saying? You wasn't paying attention. That man JJ gonna terrorize us, bro.
Courtney, I'm gonna go to you because you said
me and you. JJ is gonna terrorize both of us, dog. I'm trying to tell you. We don't gotta worry about Jordan Love. He gonna do little shit here and there. JJ is going to terrorize us, bro.
I'm not losing sleep over.
I can't believe the.
All right, so you saw that man. You saw that man not lose a college football game. He lost one college football game.
Okay, I mean that's because he had a great team around. You know, Harbaugh's a great coach.
Go look at that Michigan team right now.
I'm the biggest Michigan fan in the world. That is the best Michigan quarterback I've ever seen. I was born and I was putting in an Anthony Carter jersey. My mother was a Michigan tumbler, bro. Like I'm telling you, this shit is not light for me. J.J. McCartney is the best Michigan quarterback, like Jim Harbaugh said, ever. And the only reason why y'all don't think is because we was running a run game program. And
it was extremely run based.
We had no tall receivers. We had nobody was gonna grab it out the sky. We had Roman Wilson. We had cutters. I'm trying to tell you, the fact that JJ is hurt right now is why we all got an option. Caleb got an option. Jared Goff got an option. That boy JJ is gonna terrorize us, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What you gonna see, Courtney? What you think? What you think about?
Hey man, you could go check my tweets from 10 years ago. I am a forecaster. I don't be wrong. And I'll accept my fades. I got friends. I got all of LeBron's homies, all of them trying to cook me through the Michigan, Ohio State years, and then we didn't beat them niggas 3 years in a row. I ain't heard nothing from no side, no Lobos, tequila, none of that shit. They don't got nothing for me. But this year, I gotta accept it. Like the only thing I got a problem with is it's all black people here. Is Michigan got their first black coach, and we probably gonna get. But if we talking about something, let me get all my fades out the way. I think Texas is the best team in college football.
Yeah, they up there. They did serve fade on Saturday.
I think they're the best team. I think they're the best team in college.
You're new here.
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead. The floor is
no, because what they are is Michigan from past 2 years is everybody stayed. They got a disciplined little situation. You know, Quinn Ewers obviously is he got that Joe Burrow shit, bro. Like you go to Ohio State and you don't play, and when you get in the transfer portal, you end up winning a fucking Heisman. I don't understand that shit, bro. It's like Justin Fields should have damn near got put off. But that's what it is. I saw Texas on both sides. Defense, offense is just who gonna beat them?
I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Courtney because she said I'm a rookie. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying Texas. I'm in total agreement. I think Texas, from what I've seen through the first 2 weeks, is just the most complete football team. And yeah, Quinn Ewers right now is the Heisman favorite so far. And it's a huge testament to that offensive line that they have. It's elite.
And Michigan on defense ain't never gonna be bad. That man was slivering out of shit that I had. Like, you know, I'm on the West Coast, so I gotta wake up at 9 to watch Michigan. I was so pissed by 9:30. Like, what? Like, how are you? We had you. How'd you get out of that? So I believe Texas. Yeah, Texas is I think we can beat USC. I know we're gonna beat Oregon. Ohio State this year, they was already talking about they didn't spend $20 million on their roster. You know, you gotta have a 3.7 to go to Michigan. So I don't know if that's gonna happen this year.
Well,
you gotta.
Well, two things.
Michigan will likely finish about 7-5 this season. I think you should be happy.
7-5 is nuts. No, we're never doing 7-5. We're gonna make the playoffs. We might lose to Ohio State. We're not losing to any other Big Ten team. 7-5 is insane. Because that means Sharon Moore is getting fired, and we're not.
There's a good chance he might.
That's a discussion that we've already had on this show.
Yeah, y'all left me out of that.
These black coaches getting set up to fail, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he don't even have a contract right now.
Unfortunately, I have already had this discussion.
I saw it
when we start talking about Notre Dame, but we'll save that for later in the program.
But bro, Notre Dame, listen. Let's be honest with all of ourselves. Notre Dame, you thought that man, he's not even in the top 12 of recruits. We just turned 5 of the biggest, like Alabama, Ohio State. We just turned 5. And now, if Sharon Moore really has the guts in him, he's going to start Jaden Davis, and we're going to start from scratch because everybody left. Like, I was watching, I forgot who was the person that was officiating, or not officiating, broadcasting the game, talk about, like, this isn't like a Michigan failing. This is Michigan starting from scratch. We crashed out, and we won the national championship.
What somebody said, you're not beating USC. You're not beating Ohio State.
I'm not beating USC.
Michigan is not beating USC.
Hey, so say that. Say that. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. What you want to do? I'll barbecue some.
Beating Ohio State.
I'll owe you some money. I don't care. Michigan is beating USC.
Later.
What you want to do?
Michigan is not beating Ohio State.
Put your hand up.
Not that guy.
Is it what is it? Do you want some money? I'm just saying, like,
it's not about money. I am not
smooth $5, right? Smooth $5 or a fish fry. Something gotta happen. There's no way you believe that.
I truly do. Someone in the comments also.
Hey, you want to do? Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
Let's run this back as soon as
I'm gonna cook this up.
Do a midnight.
And they're definitely not beating Oregon.
Let's do a late. What?
Sorry.
Tell me that they don't have. All right.
It might be good game. They're not beating Oregon.
Do you want to run this back? Both those games?
I'm gonna run this back.
I will be up. I will have my look. I just took my brains out. I'll be up and I'm ready for whatever you're talking about. We got along till now. What do you mean?
We still do. I just gotta, remind
you. Who's your team though? Who's your team?
That doesn't matter.
No, who's your team?
That doesn't matter.
Stand on something.
This moment. Because I'm not an Ohio State fan. I'm not a fan of a Big Ten team. So that is why it doesn't matter.
Just tell you, she likes Alabama. She roots for Alabama.
I know we talked about it. And what happened last year? What happened last year? I bet you would have bet that because I think we talked about it.
No. Listen, I'm a realist.
Hey, who lost?
But again,
off a shotgun, really bad play.
18.
We ran off the field. We had white socks on. We don't never wear white socks.
I'll say this. I was gonna say, like, one last thing. We gotta move on. We'll get you out of here. But I want to talk about real quick Matthew Stafford. You said you've been a long-term Matthew Stafford fan. From what I saw, like being in the division as well, Matthew Stafford, what I originally thought was just a legendary stat pattern. But since he's got to LA, he looks elite. So my question for you:
that man scared the fuck out of me last night. He is exactly who I thought he was. It's always been that way. It's why Detroit was fans of him. Like, you damn near could break his elbow, he'll still throw a sidearm. I think when we tied up last night, I'm with 4 diehard Lions fans, and I'm on a group chant with my family, and we just like, here come that bullshit. The beautiful part about it is when he was a Lion, he didn't have that staff. He didn't have that backing. He didn't have that trust where it was not just on him. So, he'd throw a ball, linebacker flick it. Nah, it's an interception. He'd throw the ball. It's Calvin Johnson in the end zone, but for some reason, both them feet didn't get down. I think it's just different now because Jared Goff's risk assessment. When Jared Goff made that run, and we ain't seen that man run in the past 2 seasons, and you forget why he was the number 1 draft pick out of Cal because he was a mobile quarterback, that's what fucked me up. Because I'm like, okay, all right. Matthew Stafford don't got no feet. That man not getting off on nothing. But he'll throw something no look like he did when he got that first down that fucked me up. So I think that trade was the most even trade in sports history, bro. Like I don't think nobody in Detroit Detroit people be mad at Matt Stafford's wife. Like shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like you're still trying to make your man's. I don't think Jameson Williams would have took that number if Shorty didn't say nothing.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like that 9 could have stayed the 9, but now it's not. It's not the 9 no more, bro. Jameson Williams is about to run that shit up.
So one real question, then we gotta move on to the next thing. Yes or no?
Easy.
Y'all going to Super Bowl or not?
Damn, Chicago crazy, man.
Hey man, all the pressure's on y'all. Y'all went to the energy.
Can I tell you something? I'm gonna tell you something real, and
Yeah.
this is gonna resonate. I want it, right? I don't want to lose. I don't want no more. I don't want no disappointment. No disappointment like we had with the Niners in the NFC Championship. And this is me personally. I can't handle it.
Yeah,
nigga, I got a Lions tattoo on my arm, bro. Like this is real to me. Like we really in that. That shit means something to us. But I do think we got it. But I'm down. This is fucked up. I'm down for a little bit more heartbreak before we get it. Kind of like how Michigan had it, where it's like getting smoked by TCU. Made sure JJ stayed, Blake stayed, everybody stayed to get that real one. That real one is all that matters. I don't want that fluke one. I don't want to beat Mahomes on a field goal. I don't want to do all that shit. I'm trying to do how Russell Wilson and them did.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stop you right there. My brother in Christ, my team could win off of a safety or some shit, and I don't care.
Nah, I need 60 plus points. I need 60
I do
plus.
not care.
I want to have a Super Bowl party where at halftime I'm outside and I don't care.
So basically, you want the Super Bowl party, and my dad tells me they had an 85 all the time. Yeah, that game was over by the second quarter. Like we wasn't
I want that. I want to feel that. But also, I don't mind a little Dallas Cowboys run 93 to 96.
Nobody would mind that. I don't even have a kid yet, and I give up my firstborn for that. I don't even have a kid yet, and I would do that.
Yeah,
100%.
Even this little Chiefs run, it's like I know Kansas City niggas, bro. Like they got a little World Series, they got a little football going on, but my whole life they was getting stomped on.
Yeah,
it's like I was born when the Tigers won the World Series. 20 years later, the Pistons won. Yeah. 20 years later, the Pistons won again after doing a double. You know what I'm saying? Like I've experienced Detroit is a championship city if we add it up. It just don't happen enough at the same time because you think the Red Wings, hockey town. What are we talking about? Feel me? Now it's Lions time. But what I'm saying is it's Lions time and it's Tigers time. We did Red Wings and Pistons then got their little bars off.
It's
and
time
then
for the other two.
Y'all Chicago, y'all didn't had it. Y'all had a good Blackhawks run.
Yeah.
And y'all had a great Bears run. Listen, 02 to 06.
I don't know if I call that a great run. I lost a lot of sleep.
Y'all just spoiled, bro, because y'all had to
boil. What 100% spoiled.
Yo, the Bears run 01 to 06, 07, damn near 0 to 2010. Y'all was an elite football team.
I don't know about elite. They had some teams. I don't know about elite. It's maybe because the quarterback position was just so bad. It was kind of hard to get over.
Y'all just never had a quarterback, but y'all had the Brian Urlacher years were fucking elite. I'm sorry.
Had a good elite defense.
Y'all was
sure.
Yo, good. Y'all had all of Michigan. Anthony Thomas. Y'all had everybody from Michigan that did well besides Tom Brady. Y'all drafted them. Then y'all had what's Buddy name, the coach that y'all shouldn't have fired. That y'all said
Lovie Smith.
Yeah, for what? Fire him for what?
Lovie Smith had to leave. It was one of the things when they fired Ozzie, where they just needed a new voice in the locker room. That's pretty much what that came to, man.
I'll be watching. Every time I go to Chicago, I stay by Mikey crib. Mikey stay by Guaranteed Rate, and I'm like, why y'all fire Ozzie for what?
Because there's a reason why he ain't got a job right now. I don't even it's the way that be going on. I don't even want to talk about the White Sox, man. But I definitely
it hurt.
Definitely don't want to talk about the White Sox.
See my Tigers?
Yeah, I see them.
You see them?
Yeah, I see them. The Royals are doing the best out of them outside of Cleveland.
They always gonna come up and do some crazy shit right when the Tigers is doing something. I don't know what Kansas City got with against us. But
yeah, man, Chuck, let them know where they can. Anything you got that you want to plug before we get you up out of here, man, and where they can get in tune with you.
I'm in a rock band now. We call Vanilla is Black. Search us on Spotify. That's really the only little thing I want to promote. Other than that, I watch sports all day. Put me on your podcast. I'm worth it. I'll be talking my shit.
Always good to talk to you, bro. Definitely want to have you back on when the Bears and Lions have their first matchup. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, do we do a pregame before that?
I know the game is on Thanksgiving, so I know I'll
do we pregame it?
We can do like maybe like that week. We can do something on there for sure.
I always want y'all to win. I just, like I said, I hit you yesterday. I just want to know the difference between Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams.
Hopefully, we find out by the end of this year.
What do you feel before we get off the phone?
I think he'll be way better. I think he's going to be amazing. I'm not worried about yesterday at all. At all. I think he's going to be great. And that's just not my usual Bears optimism talking. I really think he's going to be amazing. I think he's going to be everything they said he is. So just got to get them rookie kinks out. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. You don't feel like a couple of them throws was.
Nah, that was tough. He was bad yesterday. I ain't sugarcoating it. He was bad. But first game, he gonna shake it off. He gonna shake it off for sure, man. But
all right, look, let's keep talking. I'm glad I'm a family of this show. Keep bringing me back.
Definitely,
I love y'all, but I'm definitely against y'all at every single thing that's going on.
Hey, Chuck,
I don't give a fuck about what it is. It's Detroit over here, and y'all knew that.
Chuck, I ain't been able to say this because I've been going back and forth because some shit happened around the house, but don't nobody give a fuck about the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, they
do.
The
Detroit Lions.
Yeah, they do. You know who don't give a fuck? NBC. NBC. Put that up there. Listen,
definitely.
Look at our schedule. How many games is
y'all got a lot of primetime games.
Y'all got a lot of primetime games.
Yeah, let us have it, bro. Why should I thought y'all was supposed to love us. When we sucked, y'all was.
Look, man. Look, Chuck, my grandfather lived in Detroit before he passed a couple of years ago. I've dealt with a lot of y'all from Detroit. I love Detroit. I hate the Detroit Lions. I hate Barry Sanders. I hate Herman Moore. I hate Scott Mitchell. I hate Eric Kramer.
I hate Scott Mitchell. Don't get it.
I hate Andre Ware. I hate Rodney
Andre
P.
Ware, that's crazy.
I hate Rodney P.
That's nuts.
I hate everybody who ever put on the Detroit Lions uniform because what y'all used to do to us in the 90s. You can talk all that shit, but
what about the 2000s and y'all winning the division?
That's cool. That's cool. But every damn highlight that they show of Barry Sanders is always the highlight where he made our whole defense look bad. Had John Roper and Barry Mentor run into each other and shit. That's why I don't like
look, I'm gonna tell y'all before we get off the phone, it was because didn't shit happen to y'all updated that stadium and make it look like some Greek shit mixed with a spaceship. And the spaceship shit was what y'all got off on. When it was the Greek mythological stadium.
Yeah, the Coliseum.
Yeah. Listen, yeah, y'all added that little UFO shit.
They put like a phone case over it.
Y'all got that UFO shit going, and y'all had a good run. A great run. A great run. I went to college through that whole run. I was, you know what I'm saying? Y'all adopted me. I'm half a Chicago nigga, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to sports, it's never been that. I remember when bro took the kickoff back in the Super Bowl. That was the only day I was like, yeah, all right, Chicago sports. And then when the Cubs won the World Series, I was like, okay, Chicago sports. But
two of the worst days of my life: Bears losing the Super Bowl and the Cubs win the World Series.
Damn, you ain't want the Cubs to win the World Series?
I hate the Cubs. In words I can't.
And you know what's crazy? I hate the Cubs too, but you got to understand this is a good.
No,
team.
I was happy.
Bring this back at some point.
I was happy.
The White Sox won.
Yeah.
The Tigers were last in the division.
Yeah.
And then the year after, the Tigers went to the World Series.
Yeah.
Nigga, I could care less about what the fuck anybody in Chicago felt like. And it was crazy because people was talking to me like, yeah, fuck the Tigers. Like, what? Nigga, I was just in this bar rooting for you hoe ass niggas. Like, what? Now it's up. Okay. All right. Yeah, and I just want, like I said, Mikey stay over by guaranteed rate. I was riding past. I was like, damn, that's 21 years. We've been back a couple times. We just didn't win. We got smoked in 2012. We probably not gonna make the wild card. I ain't even gonna get my hopes up. But that little run we on, I'm with it.
Definitely. We definitely gotta get you on to talk more about that, man. But always good to talk to you. You can follow him at Chuck is Dope on all social media platforms. We're gonna holler at you, bro.
Hey man, thank you for always having me.
Always.
Monday Night Football. Let's talk about it later.
Yes, sir. Definitely. I'm gonna hit you.
Yep.
We're gonna take a break, and then right back on the other side of the break, we're gonna bring our new college football correspondent, Kyron Samuels, on. So we'll be right back in 1 minute. Oh, I'm not gonna hold you.
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour 3 of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. We're gonna be going right up to kickoff of Niners and Jets. There's a big news. And that Trish McCaffrey's not gonna play. We'll get to that in just a minute. But for right now, we're gonna bring in our guest. This guy right here, great follow on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter and at Kyron Samuels. See if you need to get all your football information. This is the guy right here. Definitely had him on 7 Night the Hallis not too long ago. He's going to be our college football correspondent for the season, man. Kai, how you feeling, bro?
Feeling good, man. Happy to be back on. Thank you guys for having me again, and nice to meet you, the rest of the co-hosts.
Definitely, man. We got Bang and we got Courtney in here, man. Dante said he'll be back after the segment, but Courtney here, she calls me a rookie because, which is true, it's 100% a rookie. I am new to the college football fanship. This is like my second season actually fully watching. I used to be one of those, I'll wait till you get to the big leagues type watchers, but I've been paying more attention with it. What's your overall thoughts of what you've seen these first 2 weeks? Things that stood out to you.
It's been chaos pretty much. I mean, college football is always a little bit more chaotic than the NFL, but with a little bit more parity, I think from like teams 15 down, you're seeing a lot of upsets. You saw Notre Dame lose to NIU. That's not a team that we're used to seeing get upset like that. I mean, we had a couple of rough years there early on, but it's just been chaos, and I'm excited about it because I think it's added another dimension. I think the fact that we're getting games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're getting game almost every day of the week now between college and the NFL. There's more eyes on the sports than ever, so I'm excited about the overall view of college football right now.
Definitely, it's definitely been chaos. Been some big upsets. Courtney, I'm gonna go to you next because I know you want there's some stuff you want to talk about on Friday, but you didn't get to speak on. What stood out to you this week from the action we just saw this weekend?
Again, we talked about it. We touched on it a little bit. Obviously, Texas is very, very good. But yeah, Michigan, really not good.
Despite the fact that Chuck
Really
tried to tell us
not
for 10
good.
minutes.
There's definitely a couple of bright spots on that team.
Yeah.
Overall, if they don't lose more than 5 games, it's a good season for them.
I want to talk about Colorado. We all talked about Colorado a couple weeks ago.
Why?
By the way, I said, I want to know your opinion on this guy, because I said, by the way, I was misquoted on this show. I said that there's a lot of pressure on Colorado this year. If they don't win 8 or 9 ball games, it's going to be a problem. I was laughed at by the panel, specifically these two people right here, Bang and Courtney, saying that he even wins 6, he should win Coach of the Year.
I didn't say that at all. You just
said that.
I said if he wins 6 games, I said if he wins 6 games, he should be in the discussion for Coach of the Year. But they ain't winning that. That's my opinion.
I never said that. I wouldn't even that's such a laughable thing to even put on that organization. I would never say something like that.
Kyle, what do you think about
both of y'all are correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, but both of y'all are correct. From a football perspective, overturning that roster, the amount of roster turnover they've had, the place that they were at 2 or 3 years ago, if he's able to get them to a bowl game, it will be a massive accomplishment. But I think you're also right, Scott, in the fact that the way that the media portrays him and the team, and a lot of it is self-inflicted. We got to be honest about that. If he doesn't win 8 or 9 games, they're going to be laughed at. Even this past week, they lost 28-10 on the road at Nebraska. But nobody's talking about the fact that they won the second half 10-0. Shut out that offense, the Nebraska offense in the second half. Looked very good on defense, finding their rhythm a little bit. This is 2 games in a row that they've made some second half adjustments on defense and haven't given up much of any points. They only gave up 7 to North Dakota State in the first game, 0 this past week to a very explosive Nebraska offense. So they are making progress, in my opinion. It's probably not going to be fast enough because of the immediate attention and the spotlight and everything that comes with that, right? But they are a team that's progressing and going in the right direction. It's just not going to be fast enough to slow down the media storm, and that's as simple as that. I think people, if Dion was another coach, they'll be giving them a lot more grace. They'll be giving them a lot more time to succeed. But for now, I think they're on the right trajectory. It's just, like I said, not going to be fast enough to please people.
Yeah, so I agree with you to a point. And the reason why it's the point is the self-infliction. And Deion Sanders is not another coach. And that's why I believe that this team could do what you just said if Deion Sanders was the coach, if Deion Sanders would just coach. But I also believe that Deion Sanders was never long for the Colorado job anyway. And once Shadour's done, he's done. I ain't saying he's going to the NFL. I'm not one of those people that say, look out Dallas, because Deion Sanders has always said that he does not want to coach NFL players. But I do think this is almost like pee-wee football type stuff or like high school type stuff where you just stick with your kids, and then once your kid's gone, then I'm gone, and that includes Travis, because what incentive do I have to keep this going, especially at Colorado? If Deion wants to coach, because my man is basically on his way out anyway, we'll see what happens when the Florida State job opens up. But outside of that, I don't think Deion wants to coach past Shadour leaving. And furthermore, I don't think Colorado, I've always said that Colorado was not the right choice for Deion Sanders because it's Colorado. And what are you really building there? Going to a Pac-12 that was already hard, and you came winning, you came to a team that won 1 game. So it was always going to be a real long-term struggle. To me, he was better off with a team with a smaller conference, and you could still get your joints off in a city you own, in a state you own. He was better off going to South Florida when he had the chance to do it.
I think, when it comes to Colorado, I think, Kyle, you said the improvement. You said it's not going to be quick enough. What do you think that this team, even though I said they have to win 8 or 9 games, what do you think should be the goal for them then for this year? Because this is going to be Shadour's last year. This is going to be Travis Hunter's last year. Both of those guys, I believe, are going to be 10, basically top 10 picks. You know what I'm saying? What would you see for them goal-wise this year?
Realistically shooting, I would say 5 games should be realistic, but a bowl game is probably the standard that would satisfy people, and it would probably be maximizing that roster. I think the next couple games are winnable for them. They're going to play a Baylor team soon. They're going to play Colorado State team. They could realistically be 3-1 going into week 5. And I think that would put realistic expectations on them. But a bowl game would be a massive accomplishment. And I think that would be just enough to satisfy the masses. And it would be enough to really show progress to, like, hey, potential recruits, I want to be here. I'm going to be here. Because I do see what you're saying, but I think Deion's going to be around. Nobody's in the NFL is going to take him. He's not going to be able to coach a team, any other programs like he was able to coach Colorado. Colorado is a unique situation where they are a hungry fan base. They are a proud fan base and a proud program, but they've been in the doldrums so long, they needed somebody, right? They needed a figure. They needed a guy that was going to bring attention to them. They're happy with just being in the spotlight again, bringing revenue to the city, being on national TV every week now. So Deion is in a unique situation where he can be himself. He can focus on just the transfer portal. He can have all this freedom that he wouldn't have gotten anywhere else, not even in a place like Jackson. So I think that it's always hindsight is 2020, right? I think he could have stayed at Jackson for a long time and made it a powerhouse, and HBCU football could have greatly benefited. But I also do love the fact that he left the keys to another young black man that had been there for years and was building the right way, and now Jackson's still in good hands. So I think there's nuance to the situation, right? There's a lot of what you're saying is true. And I don't think he's going to follow his kids. I truly think he's going to stay in Colorado for a while. And I've had conversations with him. Me and him are not, I'm not like the media guys, so I've been able to talk to him a little bit. Yeah. I truly believe he wants to stay around. I don't think he's bringing guys like Warren Sapp in. I don't think he's bringing guys like Pat Shermer in if he was going to be there for a year or 2 years. I think he really wants to be there. It's just, like I said, man, I hope the progress is a little bit faster so the dogs can kind of be called off a little bit.
Definitely. Before we go to our next topic, quick little breaking news. We're talking about the locker room, not locker room, but local hour. Tom Pelissero tweets that Roma Dunze has a sprained MCL. He is considered week to week. Of course, you don't want to hear anything about MCLs, knees in Chicago. We know enough about that shit. But that, to me, that's as best as you could probably get. And we'll get more of a breakdown there. I'll be at Hallis Hall on Wednesday. That's going to be the talk of the day. Talking to Matt Evelyn, so we'll break that down on Second Night to Hallis on Wednesday. Let's go to the biggest upset of the weekend. NIU, Northern Illinois, they got a big dub over Notre Dame this past Saturday. Huge upset. I know a lot of people who went to NIU. My cousins went to NIU. They were very hype about that.
Oh, somebody got pregnant.
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely going crazy out there in the Cal. After that win. To me, this is kind of like a two-part question for you, Kai. One, with the 12-team playoff format, I saw a lot of people say that Notre Dame should not be able to have a bowl game or a playoff game after that performance. What do you think about people who say that, and what do you think about the format in general and how these upsets, people are going to look at the teams who lost?
Can we cuss on here? I mean,
yeah, 100%.
I fucking hate the 12-team playoff, so I'm just going to be honest because I think it does devalue a lot of the games, right? Like, I'm an Alabama guy, I grew up Alabama game. I always use this as an example. Imagine last year, Alabama loses to Auburn, right? They don't get the miraculous play on 4th and 31. They lose that game, but then they go beat Georgia in the ACC championship game and still make the playoffs. To me, that's not right. I don't think even a team like Alabama that went 10-2 and would have won the SEC championship should have gotten in because they would have lost to a 6-6 Auburn team. A team like Notre Dame, and this is like, I got a little bit of personal bias in it because I love Marcus Freeman. Quarterback Riley Leonard is a kid from my hometown, but I still don't think they should be able to make the playoffs after this. I mean, they're not in a conference already, so they already have a little bit of a leg up there. They can kind of maneuver their schedule and create a little bit of an advantage there, but they're not in a conference. And they're probably, this is the fucked up part about it, they're probably going to be a pretty good team for the rest of the year. The defense is really good. As long as their offense figures out enough to score 24, 30 points a game, they can beat a lot of people. They'll probably end up 9-3, 10-2-ish, somewhere around there, and be on the cusp of making that playoff. And how could, the Notre Dame brand, right? We have to start looking at everything in totality. The Notre Dame brand is much more valuable than a lot of other teams' brands. So a 10-2 Notre Dame team is going to be much more appealing to a group of people that are making collective decisions than, let's say, a 10-2 Missouri team that probably has worked a lot harder to get there, probably deserves it more. But when it's splitting time, we got to start thinking about the business side of it. So I think I hate the 12-team playoff because it devalues the regular season a bit, in my opinion, and it gives teams like Notre Dame an easy out.
Courtney, what you think about that? I think
I echo literally. That was exactly what I was just going to say. Essentially, people like the idea of the excitement of trying to make, the college football playoff, more like the March Madness, and I don't understand that. Like, I don't know if college football needs that. Now, I will say the 4-team playoff did have its, but isn't that what we want at the end of the day? It had its problems, but at the end of the day, don't we just want to get to the meat and potatoes, the best teams going head to head? Like, with respect, I don't want to watch Texas versus Notre Dame. If this ends up being a scenario where I have to watch number 1 Texas, assuming that's how it goes, if I have to watch number 1 Texas against number 12 Notre Dame, that's going to be fucking terrible. Pardon my language. That's gonna be terrible. I don't want to watch that shit. Sorry.
No, I agree.
Bang, what you think, man? Because I know I'm in the minority of things like this for all sports. I know there's a lot of people who have a problem with the play-in game in the NBA. A lot of people have a problem with the super wild cards. More playoffs is better for me, even if it's bad teams. But I know I'm in the minority of that. Bang, what you think about, with these upsets that are going to shine more on these teams like a Notre Dame who lose in typical years wouldn't be able to still make a bowl game, a playoff game? Does it change anything if you would how the new format is?
Yeah, I'm with everybody else here on here. It devalues the regular season. I don't want to see no one shining moment with no damn college football. Leave the one shining moment with college basketball. With college football, I want to see my team that's the national champion when it go undefeated to lose one game, and I don't need them to be 16-1 to get it. The bowl games, like now I don't even care about the bowl games. The bowl games are just a sight to me now. It's no luster to it. When you say the Rose Bowl used to mean something. The Sugar Bowl used to mean something. The Fiesta Bowl used to mean something. The Cotton Bowl used to mean something. Now it's just a sight. They could play these games home or away at their stadiums, and it would mean the same as these bowl games that are now farces. So, no, I don't like the 12-team playoff. I think it's too much access. And what's going to happen is you're going to have one team like an Alabama or, matter of fact, I'll jump the shark. You have a team like Ole Miss or Notre Dame who ends up in the national championship game because the team that we thought that was going to win just so happens to go up against somebody, get upset. Now you're going to play the Teddy Pendergrass version of one shining moment at the goddamn end of the national championship game.
But may I interrupt you and ask you a question? Now, didn't we just watch like 2 seasons ago TCU play in a 4-team championship and get mollywopped by Georgia?
But see,
my bad.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, but I think both of y'all are correct, though. But I think that's the point of the best team should be there, and we should keep things how they were. Because the bowl games used to be the place where we get those one shining moments. Right. We used to see Boise State beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. Even like you said, we just saw TCU. They got beat in the national championship game, but they beat Michigan the first round of the playoffs. So, I mean, we're already still having those type of moments. I still think in large, we're still getting more parity. If people love that word parity, there's no such thing as parity, really. You look at the NFL, the same 5 teams have been rotating championships for the last 25 years. You look at college football, it's a bit of the same thing. So the illusion of parity, even in NFL, is false. But the teams, like I said today, I still believe like 15 through like 150. It's a lot more parity there, and that's what we should be focusing on. Like, that's where the bowl games would be awesome. That's where we used to get those major upsets like that. So I do agree that they devalue the playoffs, the regular season a lot. And hey, if you're still good enough, if you are those smaller programs, if you are those TCUs, those South Floridas, those UCFs, if you run the table, Cincinnati got into the playoffs in 2021 or 2022, I believe. If you run the table, your opportunity is still there to play with the big boys. In Cincinnati, they got beat by Alabama, but they got beat 24 or 30-3. That's no different than the way Alabama beats up on any other team. So they still proved that they belong and earned their shot. So I think there was a decent balance we had with the 14 playoffs to appease everybody. And the biggest thing here is just the business side of it. Like, beyond football, beyond anything else, it's more money to be made. They're going to cash more checks. The TV deals are outrageous. They're going to host the first round of the playoff on these home sites. So the schools are making more money off of it. So the schools are happy. It's just about the money at the end of the day.
Yeah, to answer that question, Courtney, those are anomalies. And you still had
Is it an anomaly though when it happens as often as it kind of has in the past few years?
I would say,
as a Bama fan, I have distinct memories.
No. That's what. Let me answer the question. I think in that case, I think in TCU's case, it's more of an anomaly because they stayed at least good and kind of relevant. They still stayed good, kind of relevant, and they was kind of relevant before that. Like Patterson had that team looking good for years. It's not like a situation where it's like Cincinnati, where you never even knew that the damn Bearcats football team existed before that. I think you have more, but I like my national champions undefeated or one game. I don't need to see a 2 or win team, 3-team win the national championship. I don't give a damn if it's Alabama. Alabama could lose 3 games, get in this goddamn tournament, and I'll still be like, nah, fuck that. So I believe that's the anomaly, but at the same time, I don't want to see those anomalies. If we do it, just go play in the goddamn Holiday Bowl on December 31st, and we'll be cool. So, like, either way it go, while that might have been one of those things where I call that does not mean I still like it. I want my best teams to play. And if a team like TCU or if a team like Cincinnati, South Florida, UConn, teams that throughout the years ended up in BCS type of conversations or playoff type of conversations, if they continue to build that team throughout the year and next thing you know that they are power, that's great too. I'd rather see shit like that rather than them seeing them get their ass whooped and then we don't hear from them. I'd rather see a team like Cincinnati go from the Conference USA to the Big 12 and grind it up there and still become a national power. If that shit happens, I'm all cool with that. Alabama wasn't always Alabama. Like when Mike Shula was there with Alabama, their ass was tough. Like, so sometimes you have those moments, but I just want to see my national champions be dominant in a quick ass season. Just need 13 games. We don't need all this extra shit. Go play in the goddamn Whataburger Bowl in Dallas, Texas.
The Chick-fil-A Classic.
Go. Like, I don't even look. I'm so much a traditionalist on some cases that I hate the fact that Gronk got a bowl named after him. I'm so much of that shit.
Jimmy Kimmel got a bowl. That's crazy.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel got a bowl. Like, I'm so much a traditionalist with this shit that when I see some of these bowl names, I'll be like, man, get the fuck up out of here, fam. And yeah, Orlando, like TCU is like Utah, man. It's solid football. Yeah, it's like Gonzaga. If I want to put it in a basketball type of thing, it's like Gonzaga. For a couple of years, they was like the tournament darling. Now they're a power that has been expected to win a title for quite some time.
One last topic for you, Kyron. We're gonna get you out of here. The Heisman race. You know, it's only week 2, but I think somebody who was probably in the thick of that is Cam Moore, the quarterback from Miami. Miami just had a blowout win over Florida A&M. My brother, who was a diehard Ohio State fan, he be young. Weekend schedule, like all Saturday. That's all he kept saying. Weekend schedule. 56-9. He went 20-26, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is also having a big game last weekend in the Swamp against the Gators. What do you think about what you've been seeing from Cam Moore? Is he an early favorite? And if not, who would you put in that battle for the Heisman this early on?
I think he's been playing phenomenal, right? He's a guy that I've been watching for a long time. I watched him when he was at Inkernet Word. Because I played at Jacksonville State, and we played those FCS teams in the playoffs. We played those North Dakota State teams, South Dakota State, those type of teams. So I watched all those kids. So he's a guy that caught my eye a long time ago. And then he's a guy that I did some scouting work for this past season when he was at Washington State. And I love the kid. I love the way he plays. He plays so calm. Like, he plays like a guy that you think is like a 5th or 6th year senior. But this is only his 4th year of college football. He's a guy that's not afraid of the moment. So I think he's playing phenomenal. I think he's comfortable out there. He looks like a veteran. But the thing that I think is going to hurt him in the Heisman type of picture is the fact that Miami probably played on their biggest stage against their toughest opponent already, and that's not a good sign for him. So you look at guys like Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, those type of guys that are going to have the big stage throughout the course of the regular season. I think those guys are probably the front runners. I think Cam is a guy that could probably be in the mix, maybe make it to New York and be there. And I think he's a guy that will have the numbers to back it up. And I think Miami's going to be there in the playoff hunt. But man, not having that big stage, have those pivotal Heisman moments that sticks in people's brains is going to be probably a detriment to him in terms of winning the award. But I think he'll play himself into the picture, and more importantly, he'll probably play himself into stealing some money in the NFL draft coming up, because everybody wants quarterbacks. Everybody loves the guy with potential and ability to keep plays extended with the hose of an arm. So I think he's playing himself into the bigger conversation overall. But it'll probably be tough for him to win the Heisman this year.
Definitely, man. Kai, definitely great to talk to you. He's going to be joining us every Monday, breaking down college football. He's our college football correspondent. We know you got a lot of stuff going on. Let them know where they can get in tune with you and everything you got going on.
Just follow me on Twitter there. That's where I'll be posting everything. So I'm writing with Sports Illustrated now. Been doing with them for a couple months, and I have some other stuff going on. We have a Group of 5 podcast that we host. We just had UNLV coach Barry Odom on last week. We'll have a bunch of other coaches coming up soon. And do some player interviews. So follow me on Twitter and you'll get everything else. And that's where you can find me. And I appreciate you guys for having me on, and nice to meet y'all.
Oh, no doubt, man. Always good to talk to you, bro. We'll holler at you next week.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We're going to take these last 35 minutes, kind of go over these couple NFL topics we didn't get to talk about. Then we'll give our picks for Monday Night Football with your unofficial pregame show. Before we had Chuck on, I was talking about the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love sprained his MCL, said out 3 to 6 weeks, even though Matt LaFleur talked to the media today. He said that if Jordan Love isn't cleared to play this Sunday, that Malik Willis will be the backup. They're not reaching out to any other quarterbacks. So to me, that tells me that this might be a little shorter break for Jordan Love. Whether he comes back or not early, I still think he's going to miss probably, I think the minimum two weeks, maybe. I know MCL sprain is kind of day to day. I mean, kind of week to week. I'm just glad, even though I'm not a Green Bay Packers fan, I hate them. I can't even put in words. I'm going right. I can't stand the Green Bay Packers. But I think to the point where right now that even if they're able to, if you're the Bears, if you're a team like that, you got to just be able to take advantage of this, because even when he comes back, he's not going to be 100% for the entire season. And if you're somebody like me who I don't think he's as good as everybody else is saying him to be, I think it's something that the Bears, more specifically, need to take advantage of. And for the Packers' sake, they need to be happy that this wasn't worse. It looked like his knee snapped. That's what it looked like when he got tackled. I thought that was an ACL. Bang, what do you think about this injury? And do you think that this takes them out of the North race? Or do you think they'll be able to, tread water while he's still trying to get to 100%?
I don't believe in Malik Willis. I do think this is a 3-week situation, 2 to 3 week situation. If they stay afloat, then you can keep him out a little bit longer. But I don't believe in Malik Willis, so you're going to have to rush him back. An MCL, the grade of MCL injury that I think that they said it was, or that it could be, leads me to believe that this could continue to hinder him throughout the season. You saw DeAndre Hopkins play, and he said that he had a torn MCL, had MCL issues and stuff, and he's a wide receiver. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers, I think, dealt with a certain type of situation like that with his knee.
Yeah, he did.
That year that the Bears played him, and we thought
it was the year of 4th and 8.
Yeah, the 4th and 8 year. So
and man, Randall Cobb went down, and that's one of the worst Bears loss. I sat in my room. You can ask Mike. I sat in my room 45 minutes after that game went off. I couldn't believe what I saw, but it was that season.
Yeah, so for me to believe that the Packers are going to be okay, I would have to believe that he is at the level of Aaron Rodgers at that time. He's not. So I think this is going to hinder him for the rest of the season. It's going to hinder the team. And the team is not going to be as good as probably everybody thought they were going to be.
Which is music to my ears, to be 100% real with you, because I felt like they were getting way too much hype. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. Dakota Prescott actually got his deal. I thought he was going to hit the market. I thought Jerry was going to continue to be stubborn, but he did not. He got a full.
Oh, shit. Today, the anniversary.
Of what?
Today, the anniversary of that game.
What? Of what?
Today, the anniversary of that game that you talked about, right?
No, it ain't. That's the end of the season.
Oh, you talking about the end of the season? I was talking about that game where Aaron Rodgers' ass was. We thought that nigga knee.
Oh, you talking about Khalil Mack's debut?
Yeah, I'm talking about Khalil
No, I ain't
Mack's
talking
debut.
about that. I'm talking about the year that Aaron was out majority of the year, and then he
that's
came back.
Yeah, I ain't talking about that year. I'm talking about that year. His ass got. We thought that nigga knee was dead for the rest of the year, and that nigga came back and whooped our ass. But he had knee injury. He had knee issues that whole year.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I was talking about something else. I was talking about the year when it was 4th and 8. Him and Randall Cobb got hurt for majority of the season. They came back, and it was the NFC North Championship.
Yeah, I know that's the year. That's the year that I knew I had to leave my family house because they jumped me because I laughed. And my father's in the other room. I never hear this shit. Yeah, I laughed out of frustration. Them niggas jumped on me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
but Dak Prescott, I thought he was going to hit the open market. I think a lot of us thought he was going to hit the open market. He got his deal right at the buzzer, right before the Browns and the Cowboys kicked off. He got a 4-year, $240 million extension. That is $60 million a year, like we said. His signing bonus is $80 million. His 2024 base salary, of course, will be $1.25 million. But then next year it goes up to $47.75 million, fully guaranteed. 2026, $40 million guaranteed for injury at signing and fully guaranteed on 5th day of the 2025 league year. 2027 goes up 45, 2028 goes 55, $17 million is guaranteed. Includes a no trade clause and a no franchise tag clause and a no transition tag clause. It has 4 void years from 2029 to 2032. I'm gonna go to you, Courtney, because you out there in Dallas. Are Cowboy fans happy? And are you surprised that this deal got done, or just kind of how Jerry Jones gets down?
Yeah, I mean, this is Jerry's MO. I'm mostly surprised that Dak didn't hit the open market because I think he very clearly could have gotten more money considering the state of the quarterback situation in the NFL, and even with guys coming out of college. Who wants to tempt fate? If you've already got someone that you don't think is replaceable, just go ahead and pay him the money. And it's only but for the next 4 years. So good for Dak. Good for Dak. I'm surprised he didn't go get paid more money, but he's got a good thing going with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Again, I'm not a believer until I see what they can win. Until I see if they can win in the playoffs, I can't believe in them. But they got a good situation. Why would you want to leave that if you're Dak?
Dante, my bad. Dante, what you think about the deal?
I think it's a solid deal. I think Dak has earned that deal. And like I said, I think he's going to play extremely well this season, even though he just got the money. He already got the money, I should say. But no, I think he's going to have an MVP type year. So, I mean, it was well deserved for everything he's done in Dallas. He's only, performed. He's done, the best of his abilities. They've lost games. Like I said, I haven't liked his play in some of the bigger games, but also his teammates don't give him a lot of help. So, I think it's a situation where looking around the league and the way quarterbacks are kept and how important it is to have a quarterback in place. Otherwise, things just can be extremely shaky. So I think it was a good move for Dallas to lock Dak up.
Let's go on to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons and the Pittsburgh Steelers last night. Justin Fields made his Pittsburgh Steelers debuts. They were able to eke out an ugly 18. Well, every fucking win yesterday was damn near ugly. 18-10. Justin Fields had, in my opinion, the usual Justin Fields game. 17-23, 156 yards passing, no touchdowns. Didn't throw a pick. And he had 14 carries, ran for 57 yards. But the story was the defense, how great they looked, and just how bad Kirk Cousins looked. I'm going to go right back to you, Dante. 2-part question with this. One, are you surprised that the Falcons looked that flat? And do you think that this is a situation for Justin where he can keep this starting spot for a while?
As for the Falcons, I'm not surprised simply because Kurt didn't play in the preseason. And it was one of those things where he asked to play. He actually said, I want to knock some of the rust off. But the Falcons were being extra careful with him being, 9 months removed from from Achilles surgery. It's not like Aaron Rodgers, who's had a full calendar year to recover. Kirk is still 9 months off of his surgery. He says he's ready, but when you watch that game, it was a lot of throws where he really damn near looked scared to plant his right foot. Remember, Aaron tore his left Achilles Kirk Cousins tore his right Achilles, which is his plant leg. So a lot of throws you could see where he was like sliding his foot, barely putting it down, not really just forcing the issue and driving the ball home. So I think there's definitely some concern there. And now that Michael Penix pick is starting to look a lot smarter because if he isn't able to, knock off the rust as he's calling it, and he actually needs to sit down and get healthy, then you have a guy like Michael Penix you could put in there. As for Justin, I don't think he's gonna sit down until he either has a really bad game or he loses. I think yesterday was a perfect game manager game. I think it was one of those things where, he fumbled the opening snap, which I couldn't do shit but laugh at. That was the very first play of the game.
You know what I laughed at, G? When shout out our boy Jared King, check out King's Landing. He tweeted, "They don't trust Justin to throw." I was like, where have I seen this tweet before?
Yeah. And then you saw a lot of that, but I mean, he made some good throws to George Pickens. I think Pickens had 8 catches for 89 yards or something like that. So he moved the ball when he needed to get first downs and get them in a position to get field goals. I think, if they do, eventually build that trust, you'll start to see them trying to throw the ball more with Justin. But I mean, he used his legs when he needed to, and most importantly, he didn't turn the ball over. So with a defense like theirs, was playing as good as they were playing yesterday, they're going to be in a position to win these games. Justin just can't fuck off games, and so I think as long as he plays solid and they continue to play like this, I don't think they're going to be in a rush to put Russ in there.
Bang, what did you see from both teams in this game that kind of stood out to you?
I ain't seen shit for Justin Fields because that's not my quarterback. I wish that nigga well in his future endeavors.
You and me, yeah.
But man, my quarterback. Nah, that defense of Pittsburgh is a real good defense. It's a real good defense. TJ Watt is one of the best of his generation. I am with Tay. I think I keep Justin in there. If this is what you're gonna get, first of all, Russell Wilson was wild for putting on a uniform that he was not going to use because he was inactive. That nigga's a lame.
He was the emergency quarterback, so if they needed him to start,
Go put that motherfucking jersey on when it's the emergency time. Sit your ass down.
But I'm saying that he was still able to play if necessary.
I know what you're saying, Courtney. He was not going to play that game. He was not going to play that game.
I'm just saying.
He wasn't going to play that game, man. He was not going to play that game. Go sit your ass down and chill out and let the boy play. All right? Justin should stay up in there until further notice, and then you put Russell in for the back half of the year when the shit gets tough. But outside of that, I mean, the Falcons, on the other hand, I guess they was right in drafting Michael Penix Jr. I guess they was right because Kirk Cousins came out there looking like ass. I think the team is going to be better, but that is not the impression that you want to leave on an Atlanta Falcons fan base who, when they got you, was like, okay, we got the quarterback to lead us. Even though they went against an ass team, you got the New Orleans Saints that had beaten the shit out of the goddamn Carolina Panthers. There's a lot of Falcons players, team fans who was hoping that that'd be the same thing that happened, and it just didn't happen. So maybe Penix is going to start sometime this year, but if that happens, you're going to have to blow. I guess you're going to have to blow it up a little bit because you paid that man all that money.
Yeah, definitely. Move on to our next topic. I'm gonna give this to Courtney. I know Courtney, you sent a hilarious meme in the group chat today about this particular nasty ass individual, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson. Before we get to the actual terrible football play that this nigga had, and this guy's been terrible for years now. At this point, you know what I'm saying? Like, who said the tweet that you sent, Dante? Somebody said he died on that massage table. The Deshaun Watson.
He died on that massage table. That's fucking crazy.
He died on that massage table last night. He went 24-45, 160 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 6 times. 6 times yesterday. He did not look like he was in the game at all, mentally or physically. He's been terrible. And this deal looks worse and worse for the Cleveland Browns. Now, today this came out a couple hours ago, right before we went on air. This comes from Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Browns QB Deshaun Watson has been sued yet again. This latest case, another woman accused him of sexual assault in October 2020 and assault and battery for Deshaun Watson. Now, before I go to Courtney, I know, Dante, you said that this might be a way for the Browns to get out of this contract.
Yeah, the NFL, due to all of the domestic violence things going on, and everything that they had going on in the media, they tried to take a hard line stance on this. I'm using air quotes because obviously we know how the NFL rocks. But if he is suspended by this, it could trigger that clause, and then the Browns could void the rest of his contract, and they don't have to pay him. So I don't know if they'll use that. We'll see where this goes. They've stood by him through all of the other cases. So I would assume a settlement is coming. But yeah, if they want to pull the plug, this would be the opportunity if he does get suspended for this.
Go ahead, Courtney.
No, I mean, listen, I think beyond the fact that obviously he's disgusting, fucking awful person that should be under the jail. And not even be in the NFL anymore. It's the Browns should not be able to duck this. I'm so sorry. You knew exactly who the fuck you hired. It's plain and simple. You knew exactly you had some internal investigation, and they put out in the media about how they did this whole thing on Deshaun Watson, and now this is what number 27. I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah, it's around that. Yeah.
27, 28. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not trying to hear it. You absolutely knew who you hired. You were okay with it because you thought you were getting the steal of the century, and they didn't care because he was good at football. That's okay. Be real and say it. You didn't care because he was good at fucking football.
Yeah.
But now that he sucks, now you want to escape culpability, and fuck the Browns.
Fuck
the NFL. I didn't get to. I'm sorry. I didn't get to say it earlier. Okay, because we were talking about Jordan Love, and I know it's in y'all's division. I saw there were so many moments watching that game in Brazil where I felt my heart drop into my stomach because I'm like, are we really about to lose somebody in week 1? I'm a fan of football. Obviously, I love watching the National Football League. But the way that the NFL is constantly showing us that they do not value the health and the safety of their players, which is their most valuable fucking asset, is disgusting. It's nasty work.
In the words of another disgusting man, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. They don't care what happened to Jordan Love. They don't care about none of these niggas. There's gonna be another Brazil game.
They don't care about Deshaun Watson.
They don't care about none of that.
Which is why he's still up here playing football when he's got fucking 8-9 felonies he's got to answer for down the street from me.
Yeah,
he should be in the Dallas County Jail right now.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Bank, you got any points on Deshaun or not?
I mean, unfortunately, the NFL or any league, pay for talent. If the talent is there or they believe that the talent is there, the talent, no matter what type of trouble they get in, is going to always win out. I remember talking to somebody that I used to work with, and they told me about a particular situation that I wouldn't mention on air. But the team investigated it. They knew what the lit was, and they still took a chance on that person. And it just so happened to work out. So I believe that the Cleveland Browns thought that they were getting a top 5 quarterback. And this is not a joke. I just want to be clear. This is not a joke. Because this just shows you how nasty some people are. I truly believe that Deshaun Watson is not who Deshaun Watson once was, because Deshaun Watson can't do what he want to do. I think there's a number of people in the world that get off on certain things, no pun intended. And when you take that away from them, they're not the same. You have a lot of players that's out here who prey on people, and that's their thing. And I truly believe that Deshaun Watson, part of the reason why he's so huff right now, is all mental. And part of that is because the thing that helped him get through what he felt he needed to get through, no matter how we feel about it, has been taken away from him. I felt that way about him. I felt that way about Tiger Woods. And I feel that way about anybody who have something that is nasty and is taken away from them, and all of a sudden they're human. So when
I'm sorry. I think that's a little unfair simply because there's a difference between consensual relationships between sex workers and people and sex workers.
Courtney, before you interrupt me, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. What I'm saying is there's people that's nasty and they use their nastiness to motivate them.
That's a truly unfair characterization.
I don't think that's for you. I don't think that's an unfair characterization of Deshaun Watson. Because
I'm saying that you're comparing a man that had consensual.
I'm not comparing Courtney. Stop. I'm not comparing him. I'm saying that there's people like that who gets off on these things and they get it taken away from them, and they're not the same. Tiger Woods wasn't necessarily the nicest man in the world.
Tiger Woods came back and
he still wasn't the same. He still wasn't. And
he wasn't the Tiger Woods.
That's because of injuries, though. But that's because of injuries, though, not the nasty shit.
And part of it wasn't just injuries. Part of it is because mentally, when you are not able to do whatever that, and you don't have to agree with me. And honestly, I don't give a shit at this point. What I'm saying to you is my thoughts here. And what my thought is just like it is with a lot of people in this world who get off on nasty shit, they ain't never the same once that nasty shit gets taken away from them.
I think, Bang,
I just thought it was important to highlight the stark difference between responsible and if it's irresponsible.
Well, it's not Courtney. So cheating on your wife and doing all that shit is not responsible either, is it?
I said it's irresponsible in a marriage.
That's also Courtney. That's also irresponsible too, right?
You were not going to sit up here and compare a man literally.
No, Courtney, you're comparing it. I told you that I wasn't comparing it. If I was comparing it, I would have told you that I was comparing it. I think comparing it. No, I didn't. So slow that down.
I think, Bang, what you're trying to say is that
what I said was that there's people. What I said was that there's people, no matter what level it is, when they can't do what they want to do, shit fall off. He's one of those people, and he can't do what he want to do, and that nigga shouldn't have been in the league in the first place after 28 times.
Correct.
That's what I said.
And at the end of the day, let's just be honest, he's not going to be in the league in the next 2 years. That's how I feel about this. They're going to use the out. They're going to drop him, and no team is going to sign him. It's a wrap. Like, it's done. Like, I agree with everybody that we all know talent rules in the NFL. If you have the talent, they'll let it slide. They've taken chances with people and things like that. But with this guy, especially now with another case coming out and everything we know about the NFL and their private investigators and things like that, I truly wouldn't be shocked if the Browns helped leak this story. You feel me? Like, it's not like, we've talked about the Texans and everything that, if we're being honest, they knew. The Texans knew about this shit. They were hiding it because he was helping them succeed on the football field. And then they flipped it when he wanted to leave. And so I think we have another situation where it's like they know this is right now on paper the worst contract in NFL history. How can we get rid of it? The morality clause. So I think at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson won't be in the NFL much longer. I think that's the bottom line. He shouldn't be there now, but he won't be there much longer.
But Dante, the problem, I mean, I agree with you. But the problem that we're going to continue to see is that there are more Deshaun Watsons in these leagues than it is anybody else. Like the story that I'll tell y'all off air, but the story that I heard, the first thing that I said to my buddy was like, yo, why is this person in the NFL? Because that person did what they needed to do to help the team win. Talent will always reign supreme. There's always going to be people, no matter what level it is, it's not going to be shit. This is just one of those first situations that I really, truly, from a team perspective, feel like that it bit the team in the ass. And it bit them in the ass big.
So you talking about the team that we don't know about? This is what you're talking
No,
about.
in this
You
case,
talking about the Browns.
the Browns.
Okay.
The Browns really took a chance on somebody who was a scumbag.
And that's why I don't have to kind of close this out, and then we'll wrap up Monday Night Football. That's why I have zero sympathy for the Browns. Like you said, Dante, you said that they probably leaked it. Yeah, they're trying to get about this situation, but you knew what the time was when you signed him, and especially somebody who originally Deshaun said, I'm not trying to go to Cleveland, and they circled back and doubled down on what they were trying to give him just because of their super poor quarterback history that we all know about. I think everybody on here, I agree. Everybody points to it. And I think Bang, too, what you're saying is, yeah, there's a lot of sick people out there. And some people need their sick stuff to get off. And no pun intended, to play a way to play at a certain level. And that's not saying it's right or anything like that, but that's just what the fact is. There are sick people in this world. To use another sick comparison, R. Kelly. He had the same sick thing to make his music. We're not saying it's right or we condoning it. That's just how they are in their heads. So, yeah, he does look defeated. I don't even think it's a physical thing, even though he did get hurt. His head not in the game because he can't do the freak mark stuff that he's been used to doing. That, to me, is really what it comes down to. And eventually, the writing's on the wall. And why I say that the Browns are cooked, because there's no Joe Flacco coming to save them. What happened last year is what was a flash in the pan to get them to the playoffs without Deshaun Watson. And the egg is going to be in their face. And I just hope, and this is probably wishful thinking because it might not happen, that we sit up here and we give the Browns the same amount of shit that is going to Deshaun Watson, because they're out here looking just as bad as he am for condoning all the stuff to begin with.
But they'll never do that because the team will reign supreme in the front. The team will always get away from that shit. That ownership should be crucified way more than him, just for the simple fact that they gave that man all of that money and basically was like, oh, we're gonna win a championship. Yeah. So what?
And let's not forget, like, I understand we love his pregame speeches and he think he's a funny guy, but the backup quarterback is a nasty man too. Like,
right, exactly.
Man,
they tortured that woman at Florida State. If you go back and read everything they did and ran her out of town, like it's a sick situation all around in Cleveland right now. So like, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That's really the only way to put it is crazy.
Definitely. Last thing, Monday Night Football about to start in 10 minutes, man. Jets, Niners. Christian McCaffrey's been ruled out. He's had calf Achilles tightness since training camp. They thought it would be better by tonight, but it's not. He's going to be out. To me, that's a major injury. Never want to play with calf or Achilles injury, especially when you're running back. I think that's something we got to be watching on today. Of course, the Jets to be full strength. This is going to be Aaron Rodgers' first game in a year. I'm going to go with the Jets for this. I went 10-3 in my predictions this week. We got to come up with a prize for the end of the season. Who has the most wins? We'll figure that out. But I think the Jets are going to win this. I think this is a make or break year for them. I think it's a make or break year for both teams because the Jets got to prove that everything they gave up Aaron Rodgers is going to pull off, that they can actually benefit on having him on their team. And for the Niners, it's like, okay, you'd have been to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 5 years, been in the NFC Championship game multiple times. When are you going to get over that hump? And I think they're going to take a step back. Not a step back to the point where they're going to lose the North, not the North, but the West, or not even make it to like a championship game, but eventually, I think it's going to be a rougher regular season for them than usual, and I think that starts tonight. I think the Jets get the dub tonight. Courtney, how you see this game going?
I was looking at I'm pulling a Mikey here. I saw that the line was set at 42.5. I honestly don't know if it's going to be that high scoring of an affair. I also don't really believe in the 49ers this season. I don't think they got better. Yeah, I'm not in on the Niners, but again, it's week 1. You know who I really am not sold on is the New York Jets. So I'm still going to take the Niners tonight, and I think they'll win by like 3 points. I say they're going to win by a field goal. That's my tip.
Bang, how you got this one going tonight, Monday Night Football?
I don't really believe in both of these teams in the way that everybody else do. If I have to look at it, I'm probably going to go with the Jets because you don't have Christian McCaffrey there. If you don't have your best player, then so I'm going to go with the Jets by 3.
Jets by 3. Dante, close us out. How you see this one going tonight?
I am disappointed that Christian McCaffrey ain't playing, especially because I started that nigga on my fantasy team. But I am going to say
it's Mason season, baby.
Fucking crazy. I still think the Niners get it done. I think I'll say Niners by a field goal. They probably go heavy on Debo, but I still I gotta see it with Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna be just absolute buns, but I mean,
he is 40-something.
He was already getting older, and he experiments with drugs, and so I really want to see how this comes out today. Because I mean, if he is 80% of the Aaron Rodgers we know, that's still a damn good quarterback. So the Jets will be able to do something. They have weapons on offense. So
wait, the game is on ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh.
Netflix documentary coming though.
Yeah, who ordered that? And I love Netflix, but they've been striking out on these documentaries.
They're about to talk about how he don't like his family, how he might be gay, and how he a weirdo. I guarantee you those will be like 3 chapters.
I will not be watching that. But the game is on ESPN and on ESPN2, the Manning cast. They'll be
as a
having
DirecTV subscriber.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you still out the loop, man. That's
we're doing good over here.
I had to deal with that last year.
What? I didn't know niggas still had DirecTV.
I spent like 12 hours at the bar on Saturday. It was a bad beat.
Or you can buy Disney Plus for the
you still have problems when it rained?
It's not a dish. Like, I don't have a dish. I have
Jackson. I've not had DirecTV in like 20 years.
It's AT&T Uverse, but that got bought out by DirecTV, so it's DirecTV Stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what I know.
Yeah, I get to stream it from my phone, and it has like an app. Yeah, and even of course on my laptop and on the TV. But
well, you said that's through AT&T.
What am I paying for?
You said it's through AT&T.
Oh, it was AT&T Uverse, but that got bought by DirecTV.
Oh, I just had AT&T Uverse. That shit was terrible in St. Louis.
I feel your pain because I had to deal with that first 2 weeks of season last year when Spectrum didn't do a deal with ESPN.
And it's funny because when you turn on the TV, it's Disney wants you to pay. Disney
wants you to pay.
It's like literally watching fucking Rupert Murdoch and Bill Gates argue over who's gonna pay the check.
Exactly. They're trying to make you feel bad about somebody else.
Disney's the problem. You're both the problem. Where's my fucking sports?
And then I went to the Other Problems app, ESPN Plus, and watched the game on there because I had to watch the game. But that's all we got for y'all today. We will be back on Friday for the Friday edition of the show. We're going to get you ready for week 2 and everything like that. Shout out to our guests. Shout out to Chuck English for joining us an hour or two. Shout out to our college football correspondent, Kyron Samuels, man. He'll be back with us next Monday. Next Monday, I'll be doing a show from a Houston hotel. So I will be doing the show, but I will be in Houston.
That shit ain't going to work.
What you say it ain't going to work for?
Yeah, that Houston hotel. I had internet in Houston.
Oh, well, the internet be terrible? Well, the show will be on regardless.
What's going to happen is you're going to go out after the game.
Your ass going to be like this.
Sunday in Houston.
No, I'm not going. No, the game, it's a Sunday night game.
That's
your
what
ass
I'm saying.
Like this
I said what I said. You're going to go out Sunday fun day in Houston after the game. That Monday's going to be rough.
You better do the show from Trill Burgers.
I'm going to just say this. I love Texas.
I'm not big on the South, but I will.
Texas, I
You're going to have a good time.
I love Texas.
I didn't say I wasn't going to have a good time. I'm just not big. I'm cool with visiting the South.
I was this close to moving to Texas. I love Texas.
I love Texas.
Chicago niggas
3.5
love
years. There's some things, obviously, as a woman, gotta hope I don't end up in a crazy situation. Okay, no one's shooting the club up over here. If you catch me.
Oh wow, that's now. Wow.
See, I love the South. I also
hate the laws,
I mean, hey,
Chicago niggas love the South. Chicago niggas moved to 1 of 5 places and 3 of them in the South.
Houston, Atlanta.
Yeah, and Chicago niggas love Dallas. Chicago niggas love Dallas.
They do.
In Minnesota, if they GDs.
Yeah, Minnesota's where GDs go get their life together.
And the 5th low key one is Iowa City. And you
Iowa City, Cedar Rapids.
What are you doing in Iowa City?
Sioux Falls, high from the police, my nigga.
Half of the police sell drugs.
White women. That's they do.
White women.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I almost said what type, but that would be bad for the show.
But Either way, the show be going on next Monday. Well, whether I'm hosting or somebody else is hosting, the show will be going on next
I won't
Monday.
be here next show. Yeah, that's
I
the show.
know.
I won't be here next show.
I talked to Mikey. Mikey might be hosting if I can't go. So
I'm still laughing at that question you asked me too, Scott.
What question I asked?
About the wedding and about the wedding.
Is that not a actual question? Like, let's be honest here. I'm not gonna say the question on air, but that I feel like Steve said. What did Steve Smith tell DJ Moore? Is this not a legit question? That's how I felt. That's why you laughing, because you know it's true. That's why you laugh. You know it's a factual question.
Hey, man.
But we're gonna get up out of here, man. You can follow JR Bang at JR Bang on all social media platforms. You can follow Dante at OctoberZone on Twitter. You can follow Courtney at 1-800-CALLER-BRO on all social media platforms as well. You can follow me at Barberchair Scott on all social media platforms. Follow the Barberchair Network at BarberchairNet. Follow our partners, H&B Media, H&B Media TV on Twitter, and at H&B Media on Instagram. Subscribe to the Patreon.
They dropped the video for me.
For who?
They dropped. I'm looking at the video. My bad. I'm looking at the Tyreek Cam video.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about something else when I dropped it. But so subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network. You can see right here up on the screen, we got the QR code. If you enjoyed the 10-15 minute conversation we had about Kendrick Lamar, you're gonna want to tune in to Summer Sessions. We're gonna record that tomorrow. It'll be on the feeds on Wednesday. Subscribe to the $10 Barberchair Network All Access tier, and you can get 25% off your first Barberchair shop order, or you can just visit the shop right now, even if you're not a subscriber, bcnetshop.com, to get all of your Barberchair Network merchandise. You can get 79th and Hallis merchandise. You can get, I'm not going to hold you, the whole thing right here, man, bcnetshop.com, man. So that is all we've got for y'all. I'm about to eat, and I'm about to watch some football. So we're going to holler at y'all on Friday. We up out of here.